Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Strikers Saturday. We're here for the 4th edition. My name is K-Bot. I am joined by Magic. Magic, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing lovely. Just had a little bit of a walk on a very sunny Saturday afternoon, and I'm excited to be watching this Omega Strikers tournament. First time casting. Kayla, you've been around the block a little bit, but I'm excited. It's the first time.
Yeah, I was here for the first Striker Saturday, and then I haven't showed up since then. And I've kind of been not paying as close attention maybe to the game as I should have in the past 2 weeks. But hey, there's been a lot going on. Also, lucky you, it's sunny outside where you are. It was
Yeah.
raining like downpours for me earlier this morning, and it's starting to get a little cooler, starting to get into that fall weather. And speaking of fall weather, happy Halloween, everybody. It's November 5th, and we've still got the Halloween event in the game. I think that officially makes this the Halloween version of Striker Saturday. So thanks, Aesop. Shout out to Aesop for that one.
Yeah, according
Because
to
I
those
think this
lovely
counts.
developers.
I think this counts for the Halloween edition.
Hey, listen, anytime to celebrate the spooky season, I will take. I'm always a fan. Hoodies and sweatpants are my jam, and I will stay in them for as long as I can.
Please. Always a nice treat. I like it's still fall, okay? It's still fall. You're still allowed to do it. It's just funny to see
Yeah.
like jack-o'-lanterns in the back instead of just pumpkins or something.
I mean, you're also from the north. You know that it's about to start snowing in like a week, and nobody's going to
Oh,
be
don't get
prepared
me
for it.
started. No, and then it's gonna be like 60 again, like 3 weeks from now,
Right.
right? Where you'll still want to wear shorts. And then it'll finally be back to back to winter weather. So
hmm
case in point, I'm still gonna drink apple cider. I'm not on hot chocolate yet. We're gonna keep drinking apple cider because that's the
Valid.
season we're in. We've still got another little bit to go. But hey, we've got 13 teams showing up today for Strikers Saturday, and a few notable ones here as well. One of the ones I want to talk about, ORBITZ is back for this event after a struggling performance last Thursday in the
Mhm.
Autumn Series. Gonna see if they can try to bounce back from this one. Magic, who else do you have your eyes on?
I also have my eyes a little bit on Zealous Zealots. They seem like they are going to be a strong, little bit of a dark horse, probably like a good upper tier team. We're going to see them later on in the tournament for sure, trying to make a push for the run. And I'm excited to see if any of these scrappy little teams that we saw enter at the last minute can prove any points.
The other thing I'm excited to see here, we've got two collegiate teams, collegiate represent. Let's
Mhm, mhm.
go. Stockton and Texas State both have their Omega Strikers teams competing, and it's been interesting to watch the hype build up as we start looking forward to the Collegiate Cup next weekend, where there's probably going to be something like, I mean, I don't know how many teams there are. I'm really curious to see what the rosters end up looking like for that event. But that should be a fun one, of course, to stay tuned. But first, I think we're going to see Team Tavern versus Proxy Black, presuming that both of
Right.
these teams end up checking in. Don't know enough about any of these teams, but of course, always going to be interesting, Magic, as we take a look at kind of current meta states and taking a look at things, what's going on here. What do you expect to see on average across the board?
Well, we're going to be seeing the classic, right? We're going to be seeing probably your Dubus in your goal. You're going to be seeing Juliet's. You're going to be seeing X. You're going to be seeing Amy's and Estelle's in your forward spots, and Era's if the time really calls for it, if the double brawlers start to get really bad. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they plan their trainings around these different compositions because if you have the Juliet mirror match, you need to make sure that you're running the right trainings, things of that nature. So it's going to be essentially, especially in these early stages of the tournament, it's going to be making sure these teams know what they're doing to get out of these early rounds.
All about trying to get yourself a little bit of an extra head start on your opponents as we head towards and forward for this double elimination event over the course of the day today. But, to your point, trainings are such a large part of Omega Strikers. And I'm sure that most of you that are used to watching Omega Strikers casts are used to people saying that. But for those that aren't, where the trainings are basically the little buffs that you get to take into each individual match before that gameplay actually starts. And a lot of these things, Magic, are actually quite powerful. Give me a few examples.
So the big one that people have been running recently is Unstoppable, right? And it's been giving these brawlers a really, really good chance to not only knock people out, but also maintain themselves as they are trying to get knocked out themselves, right? It's kind of that back and forth. If you're going to be up front, you're going to be taking a lot of hits anyways. You need to try and maintain your stagger as much as you can so that you can keep that positioning. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try and shoulder around themselves to make sure that they're not only positioned for the puck, but they're positioned for the knockouts when the opportunity presents themselves.
All right, now we are finally into draft for our game one here. It does look like, we'll get the team rosters up here in a moment, but early showing, not much brawler, but of course there's the Juliet lock-in, the Kai lock-in as well, and Kai's a character that we've seen actually rise a little bit more in play, especially given the relatively recently buffed Barrage now has 6 shots, opting for even more core control than what he was used to earlier.
Yeah, which is insane, right? You really have to try and keep pounding it in, or really try and cross them up. And even then, the speed buff is just going to make that almost impossible. As we kick off here for the first round of Striker Saturdays.
Team Tavern is on the blue side, Proxy Black on the red side, and already a knockout as that Juliet is off the screen. Power play opportunity here for Proxy Black, but you have to imagine in these early stages, getting that Juliet behind is going to be so incredibly important.
Right, exactly. Trying to make sure that staggers down, trying to make sure that Julie cannot get into a good position. But if you're good as Estelle, it doesn't even really matter. If you're by the side and you've got that core in a position to score, you can do all you want. That was a really clean, just classic combo. The Q right into the special.
Crystal Thorns is something that Estelle is going to be known for, especially on such a low cooldown. You expect to see this Estelle continue to throw those out because that is exactly how this core control for this striker works. And so now it's going to be Proxy Black that has the advantage. We'll see if Team Tavern can try to come up with something here. But again, as we were talking about, already a little bit lower on the experience levels, might be a little bit difficult. You see Dirty trying to go for that, can't quite seem to find the knockout, and now we're seeing this go back and forth a little bit as these teams are looking to try to position against one another.
It looked like the Nantes was almost out in the back of his goal right there. Train doing a fantastic blink to try and escape that Juliet combo, was able to. They're going to have a lot of pressure on this goal. Not going to find anything quite yet, though. That Era is really trying to keep everybody back, keep everybody at bay. And it looks like they might be able to turn this one around and actually get it out of their side of the field.
Trying to do just that for now. Potentially an opportunity for Team Tavern. Not able to find it this time around. Recoil up to Dirty, trying to find something off the corner here. Now it's going to find the ultimate, and there's where you don't want the core to be, right between the Juliet and the goal. It's going to be a difficult opportunity here for Castaway Place to get that sent away, and evening the score line is Team Tavern.
And that was such a really well-placed ultimate, right? It caught the core right as it was trying to get around that corner and barely stuffed it in. Oh, and a beautiful play by Dirty, catching out that Estelle for playing too close to the corner so many times. And now it's looking like a really good opportunity. Dirty had the chance but missed that punch, and it's going to be tough to get this one in.
We talked about earlier Dirty potentially getting behind. Now is starting to be ahead, already at level 7 on this Juliet. Now looking for another knockout on a Castaway Place. Not able to find it that time around as the Law goes back and tries to find some time. Nantes, though, can't quite seem to find this clear. And so all of a sudden, Proxy Black up 2-1.
Yeah, and that's one thing that is going to be really demoralizing if you're Nantes, right? You need to be able to keep your mentality as a goalie, especially. Trying to make sure that you can keep that puck away is going to be so important, but even more important is to keep up your mentality to make sure that you get those plays every time.
So much about a mental game here, but a nice shot comes in from Recoil to even up the scoreline. A beautiful angle to find back to the opposite corner.
No, that was beautiful, right? Trying to cross it up, catching Castaway, stepping up a little bit too close, not keeping themselves centered. That's going to be another early knockout from Dirty. Train, although had a really good shot early on in this game, needs to stop going near that side. That's going to be so important if they want to try and keep this pressure up.
And now Dirty has the Omega rank already sitting at level 10, and now we'll be looking to try to convert that forward here, able to sneak between all 3 members of Proxy Black to put that one away. Castaway just was not expecting Dirty in the right place, the right time. Team Tavern, their first lead of the game.
It's going to be crazy. I don't know. At this point, it seems like both teams are pretty evenly matched, but it seems like Proxy might just have a little bit of the upper hand if they can just keep this core on the enemy side of the field, right?
Potentially so, and that's one of the things especially that Dantes wants to do on this Kai. When you have all of these range abilities, trying to keep it on the other side of the pitch is so important. And Castaway Place is getting even more overwhelmed on this Dubu goalie. Dirty continues to find the right places, the right time to put this core back. Match point now for Team Tavern.
Tavern is looking like they want to go for it soon. They have already in position. They're trying to get these knockouts early. Maybe Rekul with this speed boost might be able to nail down Castaway. Not gonna be able to do so. I think the cooldowns were a little bit too late. And Dirty wasn't in quite the right position, was a little bit too far away from the core. They've got another chance though, and I don't know if they can do it, K-Bot. It seems like they've got the stalwart defense.
Difficult here, especially when you were behind. You saw that forward duo was at 9 and 7. Now, of course, Train is back at Omega here for Proxy Black, but both of the forwards for Team Tavern are Omega, and now Dirty is going to find another knockout here, potentially looking for this one. The ultimate's going to come out, and there it is. Quadra for Dirty to take Team Tavern to the 5-2 victory in Game 1.
And every time Dirty was so important on displacing that goalie, but I think that Rekul on this era was really the MVP, making sure that those forwards could not get their pace going, right? Every time that they tried to try and get that puck around them instantly with the debuff to slow them down, make sure that they were easy to knock out, and that Dirty was able to run around the field for it.
One thing that you point out, one thing the game itself pointed out there at the end is Recoil, of course, in this midfield era role. 56 redirects on that one. Certainly was able to control the pace of the game for the forwards and enable Dirty to find these opportunities for the flashy KOs. But at the same time, also controlling the core and also trying to put it in the right place at the right time there for Dirty to send it away. And now it'll be interesting to see what the mix-ups might be heading into this next game. It looks like there are going to be at least some slight changes now as we head to home stretch with cooldown boost orbs. We see some Ashers come out. I imagine Asher was previously banned. Now both teams opting for it here.
Right, yeah, it's probably Proxy switching to a Juliet ban instead of the Asher ban, right? Which makes sense. They don't want to see that Juliet because Dirty was doing such good work on it. But I can imagine that Dirty also has a good Asher here, and they're gonna try and steal this one of Ray right now as they're going for this early scrap in the midfield, and Dirty is already staggered.
Gonna have to be careful on this Asher, but of course Asher also plays like another brawler and potentially try to scoop the core right into the goal. Now it's going to get knocked away by Castaway Place, finally sent away. Very reminiscent of Game 1 though. You'll remember Dirty was knocked out there in the opening seconds of the game, and now potential scoring opportunity here coming out of Proxy Black. Will they be able to shove this one away? Doesn't quite look like it that time around, as now the core is going to fall back. Castaway Place can't quite get back in time. Recoil's going to send that one to the top side.
And really, every single time, it seems like they try and get this core. Even during that power play, Rakul was just standing right in the center of the field, and the puck just went right towards him instantly, and was able to clear it and get Dirty back into the game really quickly. This is another quarter play, and that's going to be really close. Okay. I don't know how it ended up going to the other side of the goal, but they were able to convert on it barely, and that was just a beautifully placed special ability from Dirty.
Both path splitters coming out to try to redirect things, but unfortunately it is going to be the Team Tavern path splitter that comes up big for them. Now, going to be seeing what else they can do here. They're already up 2 goals. They're already ahead, starting to get a little bit more ahead in the early game here. We'll see what else they can try to do as this one moves forward. But if you're on the other side, I mean, for Proxy Black, you have to find a way to let Train get this over to Drowsy to start to get more pressure in front of the blue net.
I think Drowsy had a little bit of an opportunity to KO Rekul there, and is going to have an even better one now, pushing them out of the goal, and they're going to be really patient on this play. Very clutch from Drowsy to see all of the opportunities right when they needed to, not going for that KO too early, which I think was important, and it opened up the opportunity for him to score.
Are we sure Asher isn't considered a brawler? I feel like I see so many Ashers be able to pump out so much damage and find so many knockouts, especially essential ones like that, to try to get Proxy Black in this game. And then there's the piercing shot coming through for Train on the Estelle, tying this one up.
That was clean. I mean, really, there were 3 people lined up right in front of that Estelle, and they couldn't do a thing about that core. They need to start getting them away from the sides, right? Like, they really need to start punishing Train for being over there again, which is what helped them succeed in that first game so much. They just need to start finding it again. But if they get caught in this corner, it's going to be so tough. Able to barely clear it down, but that Tofu Fortress is going to try and send it right back. Castaway got a little bit too, I guess, skittish, and ended up getting too far away from that core on that one.
Summer Assault just does not come through in time, but it's worth noting here, I think, as we're talking about this a little bit more, it does feel like Team Tavern is doing an excellent job of keeping this core on the red side of the pitch, and that's exactly what we said that Nantes wants to do on this Kai goalie, right? The objective is to send it back to the red side, but worth noting, of course, when this game is so close, the scoring opportunities that Proxy Black have been important. Now Train able to find the knockout with the piercing shot here, might be looking on this power play to make something happen. Recoil can't quite seem to find this range come through, and there it is. Drowsy is there, tying this again at 3 apiece.
And equalizing this is so important for Proxy, right? Like, they really need to start building this momentum to try and keep their pace going and put a little bit of pressure, because Team Tavern has been in the driver's seat for the majority of these games, and now it seems like they finally got their footing. And let's see if they can convert on that.
Now they'll be looking for the same thing. Train on Omega right now. And of course, Dirty and Recoil still a little behind in terms of levels. Going to be that important when we're talking about damage and when we're talking about knockback, which Train has continued to find these piercing shots on the Estelle to knock players out. You think about this composition not having as much knockout power, what Train would like to prove otherwise here. Now Dirty on the offensive, not quite able to find it this way around. Castaway Place is going to stand tall for now. We'll see what else can happen here with just about 60 to play.
That was a really greedy path splitter from Drowsy, but it seems to have staggered Dirty, and they're going to knock it out. They have another power play where they can try and get this one. The Crystal Thorn's not going to land, but Drowsy's in a really good position to bully the goal. Going to be able to get the 1 KO. They need to start making this thing happen. Can they pressure Nantes? Are they going to be able to do it? Barely not. Recoil comes in just in time.
Not that time around, but Train on a 4 KO streak. Now might be looking to try to do that once more. The piercing shots continuing to come out here. Now Castaway Place actually going a little bit far forward. That was an empty net for a moment, but not able to capitalize from Team Tavern. Now 30 to play. Train is going to try to send this one back the other direction, trying to find Drowsy on the front lines, but just cannot quite come through with all the core control off of Recoil on this era like we saw in the last game, but nonetheless, Train is able to find the back of the net there on a long shot off the wall. 4-3 with 20 to play.
And you could tell that Nantes was really predicting it to be going towards that corner again, and off the wall. I don't know if it was a straight hit. I don't know if it was planned, but that was still a beautiful play from Train. Let's see if Drowsy can get the KO here. It's going to send out the Pat Splitter. Maybe. It's so crazy, but Drowsy's not able to find it.
10 to play. Of course, overtime will go ahead and move forward. You do need 2 to win. We'll see what comes of this now. Puck continues to go back and forth. Now finally slowing down a bit. Dirty might have an opportunity, but that's going to get sent away by Castaway Place. It's found Train. Now over to Drowsy, looking to try to get something done. Try to scoop it into the back of the net. The piercing shot doesn't quite come through in time. They still cannot quite seem to find this last one onto the core. Nice piercing shot, but that one also gets saved away by Nantes. Now finally, there's the teleport coming through for Train, equalizing the series at 1 apiece.
And they were in the driver's seat. They knew what they needed to do right at the end. And even though Drowsy was staggered, decided, I'm just going to send out as many abilities as I can to get this core moving forward, and then just trust my teammate will be able to complete it. And Train did. And a very deserved MVP. 75 redirects from this Estelle, who even like on the defensive side was doing such a wonderful job at keeping that core away from the goal and moving forward. That was beautiful play.
75 redirects, 4 knockouts for an Estelle too. You don't think of Estelle as having that many knockouts, having that much knockout pressure, but in that composition, this Estelle absolutely must when you're running kind of no brawlers. I mean, I think Asher considers us half a brawler, but hey, that's just me. At the end of the day, when you're able to find these piercing shots, when your enemies are least expecting it, to get them off of the pitch, finding those opportunities to try to get even a little bit more pressure towards the opponent's goal is so pivotal and critical in these games.
Right, exactly. And especially on something like Origins, it's going to be even more important to try and play around those corners, because there is nothing blocking you from really getting those tight corner shots. I believe that Juliet was banned again because we're not seeing it come through, but Drowsy's going to decide to pick the X instead of the Asher, and it's going to be a triple long-range composition on the side of Tavern. That's Really?
Little interesting here. I mean, I assume the bans are Juliet and Asher based on what we've seen so far, right? So it looks like Team Taverns opted to go ahead and ban this Asher. And now they're running this triple ranged composition. We'll have to see if they can find it here and if Dirty can play this Estelle just as aggressively as Train was in the last game.
Right, exactly. Dirty's been on Asher and then Juliet, and now this time it's going to be on the Estelle. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be comfortable for them. It already getting staggered this early, trying to find that core, but a great special ability from Requil, and that's going to send X to the Nether Realm. They're going to have a good opportunity to score on Castaway here, but a beautiful somersault. Finally, Drowsy comes back in, and this one's looking like it's...
Oh! The timing on the piercing shot from Train, it's something that if you're Nantes there, you have to have hoped that you would have already hit your barrage to come out. There's not much you can do for a well-timed Estelle ability, and that was beautiful play from Train.
Very, and they're really going to need to start making things happen in this game if they want to try and get back the success that they found in the first game. They're already putting so much pressure, and they're not even going to be able to stand towards Kai to try and get that clear. Finally, he gets out of there, but Requil is just going to get bounced around, trounced around, and finally gets KO'd. Drowsy's going to go right for the goalie here. They got a couple of nice shots on, but the cooldowns are down. A little bit of a missed opportunity if you're on the side of Proxy.
Fortunate that time around, but this is exactly what the X wants to do. It wants to bully the Kai goalie all of the time in this matchup. Try to make it so that the Kai can't do much of anything, and it allows Train to find the opportunities to find those scores. That was a tag team play. Don't let that goal screen confuse you. Train able to find the angle because Drowsy is there bullying the Kai goalie.
Right, exactly. Keeping them away, making sure that, especially they need to be coordinating. What?
I don't know. I don't know on that.
I don't know. I don't know about that one either. I guess I'm really just a good shot. That's just a good shot.
If you're Team Tavern, you take that though, and you take that to the bank here, keeping the series a little bit more neutral as we're starting to get down in play. See what comes of this. Train looking for the piercing shot. Already level 8, by the way, on this Estelle. These piercing shots are going to be hitting so hard.
Right, and especially with rapid fire, and actually switched to Stinger and Prime Time, which is not what they were running before, but they're really going to be relying on these piercing shots to make sure that they can get not only KOs, but also a lot of goal pressure with those consistent abilities. But Castaway is going to get cast aside by Dirty to a beautiful teleport in to get that goal. That was so close to being okay, but Castaway needs to be a little bit more aware, especially when stepping that close to an Estelle.
The other thing for Proxy Black, I mean, Drowsy was bullying Nates once again, looking to get that Kai out, and then actually found the knockout. No Train cooldowns were up for that last one, and it still allowed the Rose Warp to come through. Now they find another goal here, actually for Team Tavern, going ahead once more in the game. They're starting to come back here, and the level advantage is starting to be a little bit even.
And it is starting to be very even. It seems like maybe they can get a good piece of momentum here. Like, Nantes is really confident stepping forward. They might have been feeling a little bit of the pressure the last game and the last few minutes, but now that they've got their goal stuff set up and they've got these KOs, especially on something like X, they're going to be able to let Nantes step forward here and try and put this one away. Oh, but Train has other ideas.
Looking to try to take care of business there, but couldn't quite find the angle that time around. Well done here. Requil and Dirty continuing to keep up the pressure with all of these ranged abilities. Sometimes it's all about creating confusion on the goal line. That's exactly what they're trying to do, setting this core in all different ways. And now Team Tavern on match point.
And they do such a good job at positioning in front of the goal. You see how Dirty is always kind of at that off angle, and Requil is usually on the side, near the wall, near the corner, and is able to send it in between 3 people and just absolutely score out of nothing. Just 1 strike is all it takes, and that's going to be Team Tavern securing what was a really close game from Proxy Black in the first round. And that was just round 1, which is important if you're trying to make a deep run in this tournament, getting out early.
Requil looks like a player to watch out for. 4 goals, 46 redirects, 26 shots on that era. playing out of their minds. And then the placement on some of those shots as well were really what was
Yeah.
brutal. Trying to pick apart the opponent's defenses and find those small slivers of openings from the midfield line is absolutely what you need in order to try to succeed. Anytime you can try to capitalize on an opponent's mistake or an opponent's misstep, it's exactly what you try to do. And was able to do it there that time around for Team Tavern, sending them forward in the tournament. Now, the sad truth, folks, is that the winner of that match has to play Orbitz. So we'll see where that goes and how far they can end up getting in that series. But of course, you have to imagine that one's going to be a little bit difficult of a matchup for them.
Right, yeah. Not necessarily envied, I would say.
Yeah,
Not that
not
position.
quite.
But it's better than getting sent down a round earlier, right? It's gonna help them get a little bit more of a deep run. It gives them experience against a really strong team that they can use for later. And the other thing I want to say is that Proxy Black was also very good in that set. I mean, Drowsy on those brawlers was very consistently putting on a lot of pressure, and even though got knocked out a couple of times, like is also a good, strong player to watch out for on those aggressive picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we'll have to watch out for in the future. But now we're already getting set for our next round. It's going to be the Soondubu Strikers versus Blackwater Kraken. Now, I didn't get the chance to do a lot for Blackwater or do a lot of prep work for Blackwater Kraken. Player of Daftgrass is on that team. But the Soondubu
Okay.
Strikers is a team here that has been around, has been participating, and kind of has been around since the start of beta tournaments here. They've been actually playing quite well and making pretty deep runs in some of these brackets.
Wow. Okay. I mean, you know more than I have. I did not
Well,
get in the the alpha, so I don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm,
I
I'm
mean
not. I'm not upset.
that wasn't an alpha. I just said all beta stuff. I mean,
Well, yeah, but
Soondubu
you've been
Strikers.
around, so you know the. Okay.
Kind of. Last week as well, right here on this broadcast, actually, it was Soondubu Strikers versus Quest Esports that had to tie, I think, for server-related issues.
Ooh.
I'll be honest, I wasn't around. I don't really remember everything that was going on there. But hey, they're looking for revenge here, and they're looking to try to take another Strikers Saturday title. So let's see what they have to prove for it. Is now it looks like we're about ready to hop right into draft for Game 1 here.
Oh, and we already see the rune coming through. It's been interesting. The tournament that I was watching on Thursday, the Autumn Series, that had a lot of rune in it, and I was not expecting that because it seems like you want your Estelles, your Kais, your Amy's, but rune seems like a really good opportunist kind of pick where it can really be aggressive in the midfield while also being able to keep the core on the other side of the pitch. So you have a goalie like Kai who is able to be sort of fast, fluid, and really pushing the core away. I really like this idea of a composition.
So, theory crafting here, as someone who is obviously a gold player, in principle, I think Rune as a midfielder probably lets you be simultaneously forward and backward, not as much actually in the midfield, right? You're probably either wanting to play super aggressive or super passive on the Rune, depending on which way you're going here with your main movement ability. And so that'll be important to watch out for here. Looking to see what I believe that's Grimella who's playing with streamer mode on for the Soondubu Strikers. We'll see what else comes of this as these teams starting to feel each other out. But meanwhile, other side of the pitch, of course, very common composition we're seeing, but notably both of these goalies picking ranged goalies here.
Right, exactly. Which, if you can handle it, it's very, very clean. Especially with that training that gives you that extra projectile, it's super nice. But if you got a Juliet in your face, it's not going to be very nice. Really good opportunity play from the Joker there. Just sending that one in with a kick.
Well done to put that one away. But to your point here about the ranged goalies, right? Obviously, you want to make sure that the Juliet's not in front of your face because the Juliet can just hit this core so many times over right in front of the net. But in addition, I mean, I feel like if you're looking for the other side of the field, a combination of Kai and Rune on the front lines right in front of Daftgrass on this Kai goalie could also be incredibly impressive. Depending on how exactly they're able to pull it off. Now, we haven't seen it quite yet and seen all the pieces come together, as now you see Grimella get knocked away quite a bit on this rune is staggered and out of play, not able to come forward, but it doesn't matter. Freezy breezy, able to put that one away here and tie this game up for the Soondubu Strikers.
And this is really going to start letting them get ahead because Rune has been having so much control over those power orbs, which is going to be really important for them to get levels up and making sure that this Kai and this Rune are going to be able to get a lot of their extra movement, extra abilities. Like if Rune's running prime time, the Joker's just been sneaking things out, smiling away as they just stand in front of the goal, and not a whole lot else can be done.
That's Juliet for you. That's Juliet for you. Just throw all the abilities and start charging forward right towards the net. And eventually something will hit the puck and something will go in. Well done by the Joker to be in the right place at the right time that time around. Again, punishing this ranged goalie coming out of Reznok. But now, what else will they be able to find? You're starting to see maybe a little bit of a warm-up coming through for the Soondubu Strikers, but nevertheless, looks like another one finds the back of the net here. This one, a strike coming in from Joker.
And Blackwater Kraken has just been consistently pushing the pace of this game with the core. It seems like they've got a lot better of an idea of how to make sure that that core gets through to the other side, making sure that they're using the walls to their advantage, using those bumpers on this funnel map to their advantage. As you saw right there, they're able to just kick it away, clear it consistently, and then KO when the opportunity finds itself. Hook is going to be on the other side trying to get that clear cut, but not going to be able to do so. But a good punch, and Reznok's a little bit moving too close to that Juliet. Crossed up on the other side, and the Joker has just been so clean.
So clean. Again, all about positioning your strikes well. And that strike shot, by the way, from Reznok, that new training coming in, doesn't quite find its mark in time. Now, Blackwater Kraken up 4-1. Soondubu Strikers struggling a little in this game one. Will they be able to start to get something rolling here? But with the Joker already in position, it's going to be difficult to try to find exactly an opportunity to do that. Grimella, pillar up, now looking for a play, and now is able to find it back to the bottom corner, trying to come on back for the Soondubu Strikers. But they have to be careful because one more goal in that means game for the Blackwater Kraken.
Right, but it seems like they've got a little bit of the pace up now. They know where to place this Kai, it seems like. Threezy has been a little bit bullied recently, but oh, that was so close from Grimella to try and knock out the Joker there, which would have been a huge KO. They're going to be able to get this one on towards Daftgrass and trying to push this one in, especially with the Estelle projectiles keeping it forward. The Joker's going to try and catch this Estelle while the cooldowns are down, but is not going to be able to. Daftgrass misses the... Oh, no! The striking clowns knows exactly what happened, and Threezy gets the credit for that goal, but that... if you're on Blackwater, that's got to hurt.
Little clown nose. We did a clown nose sound effect, I think, with that emote. I think that's what we really need. But nonetheless here, now the Joker able to find a knockout. Power play here for Blackwater Kraken, looking to try to seal the deal on this game. Hook resets going forward, and there's the Penta coming in from the Joker off of the setup from Hook resets and off of the pressure that forward combination was able to put forward. The Blackwater Kraken take game one over Soondubu Strikers.
And an important note, there was a Dubu ban from Blackwater Kraken, knowing exactly that if they had this Estelle Juliet combo on something that isn't Dubu, it's going to be so hard to stop, and it really paid off for them. I mean, every single time you saw them coming in from the opposite sides of the goal to just make sure that there was no escape for that core.
Sounds like it was also an Asher ban in the last game from Soondubu. So that explains a lot, right? When you have very few, what is your opportunity now to pick a melee goalie? Atlas? Okay, well, take that with a grain of salt. Atlas is all well and good, but sometimes can't quite find a way to amount with that much pressure, especially that was coming out of the core control from an Estelle plus Juliet combination on the front lines. I mean, there's only so much you can do there, really, right? It's going to be all about trying to get that core away over to the other side of the pitch. But it was so controlling coming in from the Blackwater Kraken.
We're gonna have to see what kind of strategy they switch up now. Are they gonna release the Asher ban and make sure that they can get at least a melee goalie that can stand for themselves, or are they gonna decide to ban out that Juliet, try and make sure that they can't have that much pressure, and make sure that their goalie is gonna be a little bit more safe? I also think the double long range composition is a little bit tougher to work around, especially if you're going to be trying to get that Kai into positions to get the goals. You really need to make sure that they're not going to be bullied, and that you are able to have that positioning that you need. And I think that that's really important and something that can't be understated, especially as Kai. You need to be shouldering for position consistently so that the core can be sent to you and you can take control.
The other thing I'm interested to see is whether or not 3Z Breezy will change their pick as well heading into this one, because I'm pretty sure they were playing mostly Juliet a few tournaments ago. Now is sticking more with the Kai, even though the Juliet was open. So we'll have to see if that comes around or changes around at all. Looks like Asher was removed, but the Juliet is still also left open. So we'll have to see exactly what the ban was that time around. Nonetheless, Rune Estelle Asher here coming out for the Soondubu Strikers to try to take this one back.
And this one is on split, so I think that I like this Asher pick for the goalie, actually. You know, it makes a lot of sense. You can just keep it, and you can force it down to the other side if things get really hazy. Daftgrass going to be trying to send this one out, but 3Z really trying to shoulder for position on that power orb, and it's going to be able to do so. Joker's going to get sent to the nether realm here. Good night.
That one hurt there, right out of coming out of banishment. You're right on to the edge of the map. Beautifully done here, and still the pressure is mounting for the Soondubu Strikers. Will they be able to find it? No, doesn't look like this time around. It's going to come around the corners here. Cannot quite seem to find that one towards the back of the net. Now, potentially an opportunity here going back the other direction for the Blackwater Kraken. You see Hooks and the Joker able to put this one away. Well done, Strike, when you're least expecting it. And that came with some power to it, too.
I think the Joker really just snuck up on him there. Like, really, was quiet as a mouse, wasn't making any noise, and just punched it in.
Punching it in there. Now, potentially, again, pressure mounting here a little bit. Have to be careful as well with this split map. Sometimes that core can bounce a little bit weird off of that if you're trying to clear it as a goalie. Now with the Joker looking to try to put that one away. Not able to do it this time around. Enough support for Reznok there on the back lines. Now, what's going to happen here? Core's going to start slowing down. Grimella dashing back, looking to try to continue to make sure that these balls don't go and don't find that net, because that's exactly how they got behind earlier. But the Joker able to sneak one right around of Reznok yet again.
And really, like, sent it so far over to the bumper, and I don't know if that was intentional. It looked like it was just a strike that ended up going a little bit to the side of where he wanted it, but then coming right back, and it was the perfect spot to get that cross up. That was insane geometry there. But DZ is going to have a little bit something to say. Even though that pad splitter gets sent out, just going to try and swipe it. Swiped it away, he did.
Swiping it away. I was about to say, it doesn't look like that arc beam was in range to connect the first time around, but then, of course, in this Asher Ditto on the goal line, even with the goal box buff for Daftgrass, still was able to put that one away. Now, Grimella banishes two. Might be looking to try to build up a little bit more pressure here for the Soondubu Strikers, but already 3Z Breezy gets sent away. Grimella's going to have to try to keep this midfield line, but right now this core is just going back and forth between the forwards for the Blackwater Kraken, who've been playing so well. Now, finally, the Juliet goes down, and they're looking to try to keep the advantage here. Doesn't look like that's going to happen this time around, but so much of this back and forth, they can't quite seem to find a play off of these knockouts so far.
Duber really wants to try and make sure this is going to be their opportunity, and they're able to do so. A beautiful set of passes from everyone to keep it up, dribbling on top of that top wall, and Daftgrass just didn't realize it was going to be coming that way, and they threaded that needle perfectly. Really, it seems like 3Z is going to be the one to take control of this game and needs to be the one setting up these opportunities. With that Asher, it's going to be so important to send out those right abilities, right? And especially here, where Hook and Daftgrass are in these pinned positions, they are really going to be important. 3Z has an opportunity here. Can Grimella get the core downfield? They need to make something happen. The path splitter gets sent out, but K-Bot, I don't know. I think that was their opportunity.
Looked like it might have been. Now the core is starting to go back the other way. We'll see if the Blackwater Kraken can try to do anything here. Hook trying to find the Joker, but can't quite seem to do it this time around. Gets intercepted by the map here. Now Path Splitter going out. 3Z Breezy trying to control the bottom side of the map. Grimella looking to dodge the Joker's abilities, but now potentially pressure mounting. Joker looking to send this one away, and will. The warp just does not quite come through fast enough. The Joker with a triple. 3-2 now for the Kraken.
What a pass from Hook though. Can we acknowledge that?
Oh,
Sending it down and then off the bumper to get it right into the hands of the Joker. And this team looks like they're such a good unit. That's what I've been seeing this entire game, is this entire set really. They know how to play around each other.
it's so much about, can you find your fellow forward? Can you find the passing plays to get put away? And now the Joker is going to be there once more, dashing forward and then finds the punch. That's the Juliet special. Quadra now for the Joker. They're on match point.
And you know, you think that Juliet's mainly a brawler, mainly trying to punch you out, but really, this Joker has been scoring every single one of the goals, and that's the pressure that Juliet can put onto a team. Gonna be sending it off the bumper there. Gets a KO on 3Z. Can they find Hook here? Gonna try and pass it forward. No, not gonna be able to do so. Finally gets banished. Finally gets to lose control of that core, and this is the opportunity that they need. They need to score right now if they really want to actually get back into this set and get another chance to make sure that they got this score even. The 3Z gets KO'd. They need to keep this one alive for just a little bit longer.
Another KO. Hook and the Joker looking to try to take care of business here, but Reznok still standing strong on the goal line. Now that strike shot coming out again. 10 seconds to play here. Have to find a way to find the ball to the back of the net right now. 4 to play, and it looks like this one is going to be a timeout victory. Never mind. It's the Penta at the 0-second mark for the Joker. 5-2 for the Blackwater Kraken, sending Soondubu to an early losers bracket.
And that was, there's so many good opportunities. So many good opportunities for Soondubu to really get the chance to make something happen there. It just seemed like every time they got a little bit too aggressive, they got a little bit too greedy, and Blackwater was just right there every single time. But I'm just so impressed that this Juliet literally got 10 scores. All 10. All 10.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, Hook didn't need to do anything except set up that Juliet. And that, if that's the game plan, that it worked out perfectly.
Hey, it works, right? That's the important part. And anytime you can put that in front of the Juliet, I mean, even by the way, if that Juliet was an Asher, it would still work, right? Having that level of core control on the Estelle in the midfield is so vital. And it was something that just didn't quite seem to feel like it was matched from the Soondubu strikers, especially that combination where you have one character that can for sure put that ball away, and then you have another that's going to be able to move around the map. You know, that rune is what good and all, and sometimes it can cause some mischief on the map, but it feels like it has a difficult time trying to really target and really precisely strike this core to the specific areas that you want to see. Maybe we'll see folks get good at it. You know, rune players get better at this striker, given the fact that it's only been out for a short while. But even still, you know, it's something that we didn't quite see enough of out of the Soondubu strikers, and it's sending them again to a rather early losers run.
Right, exactly. Rune can be so good at keeping the core in a general area, but having those precise plays, having those lineups, being able to coordinate with a team, it just seems like it struggles to do well. But on the same token here, I think that Reznok really did do well for an Estelle goalie, like getting their Dubu banned out. A little bit rough, did as well as they could have, and I think that they're still going to try and make a deep run. I don't think they should be too demoralized. It's just going to be about picking themselves up.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, especially when you get that other opportunity and that, you know, in this double elimination format, trying to find ways to work yourself forward is going to be so incredibly important. But now we get to see the winners semis coming up here. This one is going to be Demons Raw. I'm just going to say Demons, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Raw every time. That's not. They're playing up against Surprise. Now, I don't recognize a lot of the players on Demons, but of course, if you look at Surprise, these are going to be players you're used to seeing. Bells, PP7, and Firelight all coming through here for this one. And by the way, PP7 currently ranked number 1 on the leaderboards. Literally just checked between games. So you're in for some high-level Omega Strikers action, and we'll see if the Demons are up for it.
I'm so excited to see PP7 play. Is that a Juno that we're going to be seeing? Okay. Instead of, I'm assuming the Estelle got banned out, right? Like that's, you're going up against PP7. You have to. So instead, probably going to be picking that Rune. I'm still excited.
I mean, this is incredibly interesting, right? You think of Firelight as like a Drex player almost exclusively. You think of PP7 as an Estelle player almost exclusively. But I imagine PP7 was probably playing Rune a lot in the alpha. Now we'll see it
Mhm.
come into a tournament. And all the meanwhile, on the other side, of course, we've got Dubu and Asher out. In addition to this era, so many different characters that we haven't quite seen yet today.
Right, exactly. This is incredibly diverse. We're seeing three different strikers for each side, which is honestly something that you usually don't see at the highest level. But this is winter semis of strikers Saturdays, 13 teams, and these are going to be in the top few, and for good reason. Sungold shoving it through there with that beautiful primary ability, and not a whole lot PP7 can do.
Don't mess with the Asher, and when it's right in front of the goal, we're talking about this once again. Asher and Juliet both. Now Bell's able to find the retaliation knockout there onto this Asher and looking to try to find a scoring opportunity of their own, but it seems like right now they don't quite have the core control that they might want. Now Firelight leaping forward, looking for this one on the Juno, looking with how much core control there might be, but still is able to play passively with that eject button, and now is able to send that slime forward and put that one away, tying this game up.
Oh, it was really clean though. Gumi really did try. Has a lot of the abilities to help make sure that that somersault comes up consistently, but might have just been down for a little bit too long there. A banish from the rune and barely getting that out of there. Sungold gonna get staggered, and it seems like they have a good amount of pressure, but Sungold is just walking around them even while staggered and can just keep the pressure going, and they really need to figure out a way to deal with this Asher, especially when paired with the Era that can just consistently buff them and keep them moving.
See what else comes of this now. By the way, Jubu has like 4 skins to the game now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. And
I was just looking at that, the pumpkins come out. I'm like, wait a minute, there's like 5 different objects that Dubu can lay out, all different. Anyway, Go goes in here for Demons, and they're feeling themselves right now, especially looking down to some high-level Omega players here as well.
really, this is impressive showing from Nakanashi. Really, like impressive being able to handle the Era on this. Well, you know what? As soon as I say that, you know, why don't we just stop talking?
Why don't we just stop? All right.
Yeah.
It's all going to be about this Juno, right? Can the Juno actually find the setups? Because it looks like it's Firelight right now. That's the one to try to send these goals back. It's not as much going to be, you know, we're not even seeing PP7 on the Rune actually go very far forward. Still playing incredibly passive overall here, despite having that extra movement ability at ready. And Bells is just constantly trying to go for these KOs. Now Firelight leaping forward. Looks like Bells able to find the KO. Now passing it up to Firelight, looking for this one, sending it back, but no, it's going to be Gumi that is there to stop this one on the Dubu. Now Pat Splitter coming out here. It's going to mean that Bells can't quite scoop that one into the net, and now it looks like PP7 able to hold the defensive line. Halftime here in this game. Banish slowing down for just a moment. Now the core explodes, and it's going to find the back of the surprise net. Demons up 4-2. They're on game point.
This should have been a 3-3 game, but Gumi clearing out that goal right before the Juno ult landed is so important, so important to making sure that all the pressure is relieved and that thing goes on cooldown ASAP. Really good stuff from the goalie here on the side of Demons.
Really good stuff to hold this one down, and now Nakadashi on the Era able to put that one away as well. And they were able to take the game off of this roster that I thought was looking incredibly strong. But it looks like able to secure the deal here, finding these cores past PP7 on that Rune, and well done overall.
I mean, really, like from the strategy of the bands to the gameplay, like making sure to buff up that Asher and really make it the selling point against the team that might not be able to handle it. That's just perfect execution. That's the kind of strategy that you can find in Omega Strikers. It's just going to be about trying to execute that again. And if the members of Surprise can actually adjust and maybe ban out the Asher, maybe do something different, they need to adjust now. And that's going to be the important part. And that's where the teams that are great are separated from the teams that are good.
It's going to be all about trying to make those adjustments, and you'd expect the players with this much knowledge of the game on the side of Surprise probably have that much knowledge and that much experience. I mean, these players have already played the game for 300, 400, 500 hours probably at this point, across both alpha testing and, of course, now in beta for the past month or month, nearly 2 months even.
Mhm.
So you have to imagine they'll try to find ways to adopt here, even with the limitations of the current banning system, and the fact that we're still on random maps, this time heading to split with the knockback boost, which would be very nice for these Juliets that we're seeing on both sides.
That Asher did get banned out, which was really important for them. And it seems like not opting for Dubu this time as well. Maybe that also decided to get shit out. And the first time we're seeing Amy on the cast, actually, I'm excited to see how it pairs up with the Julia, because I think Amy Julia is such a volatile combo that can really keep the core forward, as well as have a lot of KO pressure from the Qs from Amy, as well as the blinks. It's actually
Okay.
really, really strong.
Question for you and question for chat. Is it Amy or Amy? Because I think I've heard both.
You're telling me that Amy sounds better.
Look, I don't know which one sounds better. I just want to be correct, okay?
All
Don't make me go
right.
Mako Mako on you. Here we go. Already a goal going back for surprise, though. It seems like they might have been able to find at least something early in the early stages of this that works.
Definitely. They're going to be adjusting here. They've got a good amount of pressure, and they're going to be going for these KOs, especially on the Juliet, especially on the goalie Gumi, right? Bells is looking to be super duper aggressive. Look at them already just trying to punch it right in. Keep Kai guessing, and that's going to be the important part. Keeping them guessing. Need to be making sure that you're putting the core in the right spots.
Anytime you can keep them guessing, it's going to be incredibly important. Now, slowing down a little bit, trying to find something here. Sungold and Nakadashi looking to try to team up, but now PP7 going to be able to find the banish there back. Doesn't quite look like he's able to see this capitalized. Now, back the other direction. Bells looking for this one, is able to find it, crossing up Gumi on the goal line. 2-0 up for surprise.
Bells sent that one back up towards Amy, and then they passed it right back down, which was impressive. Like, really, that's the kind of coordination play that we were expecting from these really strong, well-known players, and seeing that come into fruition finally is exciting to see. Though Bells is going to get knocked out here, they're going to need to try, probably waste an ult, and maybe even a goal line to keep this one at bay. That's so tough if you're on the side of surprise, but if they can get the momentum going, I really do think that Demons can seal this one away.
That anomaly there from Rune, that pillar can't quite seem to come up, or, you know, even if it does come up, it almost instantly despawned there. Now, a nice knockout coming out of the Maelstrom. Potentially a power play opportunity here, but Sungold's going to get banished and can't quite seem to find the core in time to send that one back. Such tight play coming out to keep the defenses holding. Now Sungold going to find the knockout on the PP7. Will this be an opportunity? But the turret comes out of Vaughn in order to send this one back the other direction. Well done on the defensive side to try to be a little bit creative with that one, utilizing every tool in the toolbox to make sure that this core stays out of the net.
And they're going to be able to keep the lead for it. They're going to have a good opportunity here as well with Nakadashi getting staggered. Not going to be able to capitalize on it as Bells. And even though down in levels is going to have quite a good chance to keep this one alive, Rune and Julie end up going out. Amy's going to have to sit back in this goal, try and keep this one alive. No, Nakadashi off the bumper. Going to send it right back in.
Right back in here, tying things up. And if you're the Demons, this would be quite a nice upset to have on your hands. Getting ahead in the winner's final even. Potentially getting an opportunity to make sure that you're staying out of loser's bracket. But Bells wants to try to put this one back. Tries to save here for surprise. Looks like knockout going to take place here. Power play opportunity. Bells can't quite find it in the back of the net. Firelight trying to do his best as well to send this one back, but not going to be the case. And now there it is. That's why you picked the Kai goalie. Gumi able to put that one back 3-2 for Demons.
And they've got a really good opportunity. They can end up in third place minimum. Winner's side if they can close this one out, and they've got all the opportunity in the world. Look at how Sungold is positioning. This Rune can't handle this Juliet, and especially with Gumi being so aggressive here, they've got such a good chance to keep the core forward and keep the pressure going. But Bells turns it all around with one hit. That was immaculate turnaround.
Immaculate for two reasons. One, that pillar, that anormality coming up here out of PP7, sending that one away, and then the quick adjustment from Bells in order to make sure that he's in the right place at the right time to put that one back. Tie game, 75 seconds to play here, and Sungold finds yet another knockout onto Firelight. Again, potentially another power play opportunity, but Gumi can't coincide find us the other side of the map. The Banish comes out here. That's the double KO as Gumi's the last one up. Looks like Nakadashi is going to be able to come back in time. Just could not quite seem to find the pressure onto the net. Gumi doing a good job here, and Nakadashi sends that one back. Now they're the ones at match point.
It really seems like they're not keeping track of these cooldowns on the side of PP7. They need to make sure that when those long range shots get sent out, they have a strike ready. But it seems like they're not able to every single time. Barely sending it out of the net after getting wailed on. Finally gets KO'd, but they can keep this one away for the time being and get Rune back up. They've got an opportunity now, it looks like, to keep this one on the other side of the pitch. Maybe came out, I don't know. That's a stagger. This is looking really good for the side of Surprise.
Looking good on the defensive hold. Now Bell's looking forward. Can't quite seem to find the pressure onto Gumi. Now it's staggered, knocked away. Now out of the picture for at least a little while longer. All players sitting at Omega rank right now. We'll see what else they can do. As the turret comes out here, splitting this field in two. Gumi still sending it back that direction towards Firelight. Pillar comes up. Will it be enough to keep up the pressure here for Surprise? Looks like he's trying to do just that, but no, that ball's going to find the corner, and it's going to be the Surprise going down and Demons rising up. They'll be the ones punching their ticket to winner's final.
That is amazing play from everyone on the side of Demons. Rah! Nakadashi on that era was just so key at keeping Bells down and keeping the core forward. Every single time it seemed like they were trying to get a couple of KOs. A tornado came out, a buff came out, they sped away. They were doing so good at keeping them kiting around. Oh, beautiful, beautiful play from everyone on the side of Demons.
Yeah, well, just fantastic play. And I feel like, there's part of me that wonders, I mean, I almost assumed that like there was an Estelle ban, right? Probably against PB7, who's been playing this striker for the better part of what's been happening out. Yeah, like able to come through with that one there, and now sending that one back, sending Surprise down to the losers bracket. I imagine these players this must be a new team or a new team roster, right? For Surprise. They've been playing at some stuff this week, but I think this is relatively new for them, not quite used to playing all around one another. So I think those two factors, right? Getting PB7 off of the Estelle, and then also having a little bit of two forwards that haven't quite been able to find how to play around each other quite yet. Have to imagine the pieces are there as individual players, of course, but they're not able to find the same level of synergy that perhaps we were seeing coming out of Demons. We're able to send that one away.
The rest of the bracket's looking about how you'd expect. Zealous Zealots are playing right now in losers round 3. Soondubu Strikers are up in their set. ORBITZ are going to be joining the winner's side shortly.
Maybe.
This is shaping up to be a really good tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the level of play that we have coming out from we have like 4 or 5 teams that are all like complete Omega ranks, right? So the level of play here is quite strong. And so sitting right now for the Demons at second place, or guaranteed third place overall, looking to try to take a series off of ORBITZ here in a moment, is going to be fun for them to watch. We are waiting on the ORBITZ versus Blackwater Kraken series. We believe ORBITZ is currently up 1-0. But of course, we'll be double checking back on that a little bit later. Let's take a look at the losers bracket here, though, as things are starting to come together there. As you mentioned, Soondubu Strikers are down there. They're up 1-0 in their series, and Team Tavern also up 1-0 over the Stockton team that is competing in the event today. So good stuff all around. But yeah, we'll see what exactly comes of the rest of the bracket here.
It looks like 2 Dubus 1 Era is gonna be DQ'd in losers round 3.
Surely,
I didn't see that happen.
Surely it's because they didn't show up or something, right?
Probably.
Because that was also one of the other really strong rosters. Although they also went down to Demons. Actually, I didn't even realize that. That looks like that set actually played. 2 Dubus 1 Era is Miragent, Corey, and Bobadex. that went down. So again, another incredibly high level roster. And this Demons team is continuing to just take down these Omega level opponents one by one. They're looking incredibly strong today. And now, should ORBITZ be able to take care of the Blackwater Krakens, they'll be going up against the Titans themselves.
Right, exactly. Everyone knows the name Orbits at this point. If you've watched any Omega Strikers tournament, you've seen them play. Though they didn't do too well Thursday, they've still got a long backlog of results in their back pocket.
Long backlog of results. And of course, you have to imagine they're coming out for redemption here as well. Looking to try to continue to prove themselves. And even if, the roster on paper doesn't look this strong, Transitive Property would say that this roster is actually incredibly strong and a roster that ORBIT should be very careful of heading into the winner's final set. So, folks, we are going to be taking a brief break before we get into that one. Hopefully, it's not too long of a break. We'll try to get this match ready for you all as soon as possible. But of course, don't go anywhere because you won't want to miss the conclusion of the tournament later today. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hi, what's up, everybody? We are back. New casters coming around. Be me and Mr. Mystic over here.
Thank you, Gravity. So, how was your day today? How are you enjoying the tournament?
Oh, it's been great. I think the tournament games have been really interesting so far. Because I've just been coming in, snooping in the tournament. Definitely didn't delay the broadcast because I was missing my food. I think the team really catch me by surprise right now is the Demons. I cannot believe the run they're going through. I actually haven't even seen any of the players in like my solo queue games normally until today when I knocked Sun Gold out of Omega. I apologize for that.
Little
But
bit of flexing going on with
just
Gravity and Marry Me Juno making waves in Omega earlier today and yesterday. As you know, Twitch Rivals is around the corner, so we got a little bit of motivation to play some solo queue.
Oh yes, we do. I gotta make sure against Twitch Rivals. Any of the Twitch Rivals people watching, just saying. I'm like, what, 3,050? Send me a DM, please. I beg. Need to be in Rivals. What about you? You've been on the ranked grind as well, trying to hit the Twitch Rivals benchmark, which is unknown.
I have been on the grind, so my main is apparently not as good as yours, unfortunately. So I am not past the 3K mark yet, but I'm sitting at a nice like 2950. That's my normal Mystic account with my backup practicing goalie. I'm trying to be a goalie main here because there seems to be a lack of goalie prodigies. So you may know me as the #1 Asher goalie or the Inting Estelle in your games. If you see Potato Watch out there, that's me.
The only Estelle goalie who's really considered great is PP7, and he's already been found in the losers bracket. Surprisingly, they were actually my favorites going into this tournament. I actually think, like ORBITZ had like last tournament, like I just kind of lost a lot of faith in them. I'd really bad placing in the EK tournament the other days, Friday. So I was shocked to see they lost, and so I was thinking that when I heard that Bells, Vaughn, and PP7 were teaming up, the top ladder players, I thought for sure that they would be just storming through the tournament, but a 2-0 to Demons was interesting.
Right, we have Els and PP7 going back to back, fighting it out for the literal top position of NA. And then Vaughn, who, you know, that's the season 1 champ of Romega Elos right there. That is the #2 best midfield player right behind Ginger Pop. It is a man of legends. So
Yes.
this is a team of solo queue fanatics, but it's one of those things where tournament play is different. We've seen a lot of teams who like solo queue rank would indicate they would place lower, but end up popping off just because they have really good synergy, they know what they're doing, or maybe their pick bans are a little bit better, their drafting is a little bit better. So in this last series, we saw PP7 banned off of his Estelle, right? And that was definitely like a key reason to why they ended up losing. Maybe they needed to draft a little bit differently from there, but PP7 on Estelle would have been a monster. So let's see how they end up recovering from that. They were definitely one of my favorites looking at the brackets going from there. But Demons, rah. Popping off. We got to give them respect where it's due. Gumi, Sungol, and Nakadashi, you guys played great. So I'm expecting great things from this next winners. Is it winners final? Yes, we are in winners final. And a little bit of an update. ORBITZ and Blackwater Kraken. ORBITZ is the other. This is the other match that's being taken place in semifinals right now. ORBITZ at the time of the win, at the time of Demon's win, ORBITZ was up 1-0 on Blackwater Kraken. But looking at it now, it looks like it's 1-1 with Blackwater Kraken. If you're not familiar with the players, we got Hook Resets, Joker, and Daftgrass taking a game off of Ginger Pop, Geek, and Lumos. So that's definitely a pretty big deal over there. I wonder if it is a ping thing or not. Oh, it's not confirmed yet?
Oh, so it may be 1-0 or 1. I assume it's 1-1. Most people don't false report now.
I'm looking at the bracket on Start GG, and it's reported as 1-1.
That is what I'm seeing as well. Interesting. I wouldn't expect that. I mean, Hook, their Blackwater Krakens are even using a sub today. Daftgrass is coming and subbing as a goalie, which is not his main role. Though he will call himself a flex player, but if you watched some solo queue Daftgrass games, his goalie is definitely not up there, especially when compared to Geek. Even with Geek's 100 ping, I think Geek is still a better goalie. So I was interested to see how this goes. Joker is just an amazing scorer, and Hook's probably locking down the midfield. But even against Ginger Pop, it's really hard to lock down that midfield. Playing against Ginger Pop, it feels like you're playing on 200 ping the whole time. He just understands exactly what you're gonna do and how to stop it. And even like against Ginger Pop, you can understand what he might do, but there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
And
the man
a
just
difficult
knows
player.
what the next play is always going to be and where always puts himself in the right spot, right? And it feels like there's just this wall that you can never get through. So I'm excited to see more Ginger Pop play because he's been a little bit absent from the solo queue ladder. And
Oh.
I need the number one midfield to make his presence.
True. Also, the game has been back to unconfirmed 1-0. Huck resets doing a classic false report question mark maybe unknown. Oh, it's Kyochi's
okay.
fault. Okay. Seems like Kyochi's made a mistake. Yeah. I can't believe that this game has been going on for so long. They've been in this queue inside the set for 25 minutes, and only one game has gone by. And I can only imagine the amount of redirects that each team has after this one.
Is anyone streaming from that match that we'd be able to get a little bit of low res quality going on?
Let me check. Daft could be. Anyone? Let's see. Daft is not. Huh. Looks like we're just going to be left out of the loop to speculate what's going on. And my prediction is that ORBITZ take the game, but it's probably a very intense overtime right now.
Okay, so I'm going to make some plays in my head and just commentate them out and see if it works. So Ginger Pop with the great glitch pop over here, redirecting it on center stage. You never know how hard it is to get around that cube. And man, what a turret he put down. There's way too much pressure on Daftgrass. I don't think he can clear the ball from there. His Kai isn't really looking as good as it was before when he was playing on forward. But man, what a save by Daftgrass. This man is nuts. He's really making a name for himself over here as goalie. Okay, did that work?
I think everyone understands what's going on now. I think they're just seeing the play-by-play. Like, they're just envisioning the game.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of or listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I got it down in my head of that imagery.
Something else. Maybe we can get an audiobook playback of this game after, or maybe we can hear some
Radio Mega Strikers.
Yeah, put us on 97.5. Take over the station. Don't know who runs it, but I'll take it over. Listen to some nice Omega Strikers play-by-play commentary. I can only imagine what the comps are like this game because Rune and Asher, or at least for the first game, Rune and Asher ban, which is really interesting because as far as I'm aware, Joker and Hook both don't play Asher. I think Daft is the only Asher player, and he's playing goalie. And Daft is not a big Asher goalie fan.
I am a big Asher goalie fan, so I would love to see Daft play there. I think Asher goalie is so strong, and people just simply aren't playing it right now because they are they would be taking a strong forward pick away from their team. In tournament play, I think Asher's a lot better than he is in solo queue because of the fact that Asher's strength is that stuffing power. And it really relies on having a good midfield player to consistently get you the core. And if you can get someone to pass you the core all the time, Asher is such a great forward. So I think because of that, people don't typically play her goalie. And on top of that, she's just a very popular band character.
Yeah,
even if she isn't as strong as she was in previous patches, it's just a matter of people don't like that character. It just does dumb things, right? Asher moment.
Dude, God. But I love having her on my team. Asher is a midfielder's wet dream. All Asher does is sit in front of the net, and if you're winning midfield, even a child could score an Asher. You kind of face roll your keyboard, your passive shield comes up, you have a hitbox the size of half the goal box, and it just actually steamrolls through. And see, in solo queue, you can't really rely on your midfielder as much to win. You could first pick Asher in solo queue, and then all of a sudden your teammate picks Juliet, and your team's doomed. But obviously, it doesn't happen in competitive play, and people are teaming with these players for a reason. So if they think their midfielder is going to win, Asher pick can come out. I'm sure ORBITZ's favorite comp is probably Asher Rune. Ginger's Rune is insane, and if Lumos just kind of sits there and relies on Ginger to just get the core up to him, Lumos can face roll his keyboard and score. Lumos is a top tier scorer. Some solo queue against him today, and I think I went like 0-6. He just face rolls the key. Like he's just so hard to play against. He wins all the strike wars and then converts the extra pressure from the strike wars into an easy goal. And playing against stuff like that is just so difficult. And but I will say, I think the Asher bans are very good because I think Asher's a really boring champ. I don't think the gameplay of sitting in front of the net the whole entire game it just makes for an interesting experience.
Yeah, I really liked Asher on release. While she was way too strong, she had the movement speed. So one of the big things that got nerfed for her was her movement speed went down, and that really took away a lot of her midfield potential because you're just too slow. You cannot go back and forth and like oh you missed the strike core, now go back to your side, pick up the core, and go back on their side. It's just like not a thing anymore because you have to use cooldowns to win some of these interactions, and then by the time you make it to the goal you just don't have anything up to score.
Yep, she's just completely unviable in midfield. And you have to take all of these extra like survivability trainings like Stagger Swagger or Unstoppable, and just it makes for a really unfun experience. And I think Asher Goalie I think is a really fun pick. Like, cause that's what she's designed to do. She's designed to have super good anti stuff. So if you're trying to stuff on an Asher Goalie, it just won't work. You have to hit it around it. And I think it makes the game super interesting that way. But like
Yeah,
Asher and forward, like it's not the same experience. Instead of keeping the core away from her, she just presses the W key and you can't really do much about it. And as you mentioned earlier, I think Asher Goalie is a strong pick, but I think the other goalies are just really strong right now. I think Kai and Estelle especially are
oh,
just
100%.
super overtuned. It's like, yeah, Asher is good and all, but why waste the potential to have Kai or Estelle? And there is the time where Kai will be in forward position, and like then you can't play him net, but then you just play Estelle. I think it's pretty rare to see an opportunity where Asher might be a best pick, except maybe in the Asher forward. I think Asher goalie
Right.
does beat Asher forward. You would know more about that than I do, though.
So in these interactions, because you have that strike cooldown reduction in the goal, I believe that Asher goalie will win the interaction against the Asher forward every time. Simply because you can weave in more strikes with your abilities, and that ends up allowing you to clear it out pretty easily. And another thing that is really powerful is that Asher's primary covers so much space, and for a enemy forward to score on you, the core needs to be either on top of their body or in front of them so that they can then use their abilities to stuff it in. Asher can just push the core away before it ever gets to the goalie. I mean, before it ever gets to the forward. So if someone else, like their midfielder, passes to their forward, you can just push away the core before it ever makes it to the forward. And a lot of times, like that alone will just stop a preemptive like attempt on goal on the spot.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's a really powerful pick. Other than that, like I'm hoping more people end up picking it. Actually, no, I don't want people picking it up because it's gonna get nerfed, and I know it's strong. Uh,
She
but if
deserves
you
a
guys
nerf.
want to know the build that I'm running, it is Hotshot Prime Time stacks on stacks. It is an extremely greedy build, but it allows for non-stop cooldowns to be up, especially when you hit level 10 and you have two of those. Uh, Once you hit level 10 and you have two primaries, you just have a cooldown up all the time, and it's just a matter of managing it correctly. But I think it's such a fun build, and nothing will make it through. If as long as you are on the side of the core, you will not get scored on.
Yep,
Now,
couldn't agree more. I think
I have a
the
question.
oh yeah.
So, because of this ORBITZ and Blackwater Kraken match, this is something that I thought of for quite a bit. That we have this win by two policy in the game by default. Do you like? I personally believe there should be a number where you simply win, and that is like,
Hmm.
for example, um, it's either win by two or first team to like 7 points or first team to 8 points, something like that.
I see what you're saying. I think there's the problem with like a set cap score is that like say like Estelle Drek is a really good example of this comp. Estelle Drek, their whole entire goal is to scale to late game. You're running double prime time, sometimes a Kai goal triple prime time. So your goal is to scale super late. And the double win by two allows for the epic scalers just kind of like keep on scaling to the late game and have a chance. So like you can go in like down a goal or so. And I think if you're playing to the cap, like it takes time to like you're not gonna be like trading if you're trading goal after goal and you say you have like a 60% chance to score in an attack, like with a best of two, I think the better team is gonna come out ahead and come out winning. I think it also makes for really intense moments. Like, obviously, right now, as the game is ending, we're not watching anything. It couldn't be more boring. But if we are inside this broadcast, a game that's like 13, 14, the core is moving at 10 million miles a minute, like, I think does make for super interesting games and a super interesting experience. Even though they do kind of suck to play. I had one of those today, 240 redirects.
Oh my goodness.
Those games aren't like, it's fun and it's really intense, but you don't want to do that like every game. And I don't think
Exactly.
the game's in a current state like that right now.
No, that's a very good point that you made. So, as long as we are watching these games, it's fine to go into overtime. But consider for the people spectating, just win, okay? Just simply play better, win more, and let's move on to the next match, please.
Can someone just like let in a goal or two? Like, what's going on? I'm gonna have to ask Daft about this later because this game is absurd.
Maybe this is Daftgrass's most insane goalie game ever.
This might be the longest game in competitive Omega Strikers history. Like, what could I just want to know, especially as a player, especially as Blackwater Krakens, I can only imagine the adrenaline. Like, my team, so I'm the captain of Meta Abusers, by the way. Came second a couple times. First is for losers, anyways. But we always go into overtime. Like, we are like the most overtime team, and like when you're down like that, like 1-0 in overtime, you're just filled with adrenaline. And like, if the game goes on for too long, like, yeah, you just eventually pop. I've never had a game like this. Like, maybe like a 10-8, like a fast 10-8. But like, I don't think my body would be able to handle the amount of pressure that's going on right now.
Right, and this is only winner semis. You have so many more matches to go, especially if you get knocked down into losers. So
True.
whoever ends up losing between ORBITZ and Blackwater Krakens now has to go through losers quarter, losers semi, losers finals. If they win the bracket, then they have the bracket reset, and they have to go through grand finals that way.
True. I'm actually a big fan of going down into the losers bracket because, like, right now, I think of the Demons are out right now. This is a pretty good example at the time. They have been sitting there doing nothing for the past like 30 minutes. They've just been vibing, waiting for the next match to end. But right now, ORBITZ, they're playing a super intense game. And so the second their game's over, they're gonna get back into the next game, like super hyped, they're gonna be super full of energy after just winning a bunch of games, and they're gonna be warmed up too. And the same thing happens in losers bracket. Like, whoever wins winners finals is gonna be waiting in grand finals for a long time, and then be going against a hot and fresh team straight out of losers finals who's feeling themselves. They're playing good, they're warmed up. Well, the teams in grand finals just get cold.
Yeah, we actually had this happen between Quest Esports and Soondubu Strikers at the last Strikers Saturday, where Soondubu Strikers were sitting in grand finals after dominating the entire winner's side of the bracket, 3-0 in Quest Esports. Quest Esports manages to make it through all of losers into their back into grand finals from losers side and 3-0 Soondubu Strikers. But there was a bit of a ping issue there, but either way, like that was like a perfect example of like Soondubu Strikers just sitting around for an hour and a half, waiting for all the other matches to finish before moving on.
Yeah, there is the advantage though. So in the EK tournament, we actually did the same thing, but to Quest Esports. Quest knocked us to losers, but then we came out of losers in the grands, and they were just kind of sitting there for an hour. But what happened is that the first series we 3-0'd them, but then it's bracket reset, and after the bracket reset happens, now the other team's warmed up, and they've kind of played 3 games to kind of learn against you, and they make those adaptations going into the next set, and it's kind of hard to adjust to come from loser side. Like, you really do have to be the better team from loser side. I definitely think it's a disadvantage, just because of the bracket reset.
So many games to play.
It's a lot. I think last time in losers we were like 6-0 or 7-0, and like the team in winners only played like 4 games.
Yep. And we are how many minutes into this? 37 minutes into this game 2 that hopefully is something wrong with the reporting, and maybe they're just on game 3.
I really hope so. I mean, this is like the tournament. Like, I mean, this is a podcast at this point. Like, you would even forget that we're doing a tournament stream right now.
Okay, we're transitioning into podcast. What's the first topic that we want to talk about? It's going to be Nerf Rune. let's go into the nerf rune discussion.
Oh, hold up. 1 sec before we start. I see that Eternal King is in here. First place is overrated as fuck. Please give us an invite. I swear. I need invite. We don't have one yet, please. Back to Rune though. Rune is broken and should be removed from the game entirely. I don't know why he's in this. Instacast medium hit, heavy hit is wild. Like, what do you do as a goalie? You clear it to the left of him, instacast medium hit. Clear it to the right of him, instant cast medium hit. There's nowhere to go.
Okay, stream
And
can
then-
hear me now. I think 17-15 is the ending score
Jesus Christ.
17-15 in favor of who?
in favor of.
Please be ORBITZ, man. Please. I love Blackwater Kraken, but holy shit, I want to watch.
Okay, Geeks' longest game I've ever played. Hook Reset's got a screenshot. DM me, please. I gotta put the screenshot on stream.
Please.
Oh, okay. Daftgrass put it in OS tourney callouts. 17-15 in favor of ORBITZ.
Ooh.
Oh, thank the Lord. Jesus Christ! What are these numbers?
Oh, this is insane. Can you pull this up on stream still?
Please
Okay,
just show us on
wait.
screen. This is ridiculous. I've never seen numbers that large before. This is probably the coolest game in competitive history, and we didn't watch it. It's just so sad.
Right. 200.
This is-
this is scuffed, but it'll do. It's going up on stream right
I gotta fix my Zoom.
now.
I mean, alright.
Look at the numbers.
That's on stream. The biggest number on the screen is Ginger Pop's 324 redirects. That is a crazy amount. Geek had 41 orbs. I don't even know if any orbs could spawn in a game. He's just sitting on top of the orb. Bro is probably AFK.
And
There's
look at the
four
amount of KOs from the Joker and hook resets.
True.
19 and 20.
This-
They
had a
have
game yesterday.
43 KOs on their team.
That is it. Ridiculous. We had a game yesterday. I was playing you and Dad. The only thing we did was farm kids unranked. And we only had 5 kills tonight. That is insane.
56 orbs for Daftgrass. 132 saves versus Geeks 155. But you know what? This is definitely a game that shows Daftgrass is capable of playing goalie. If this is what you can do against Lumos and Ginger Pop, you're good enough to be my goalie. That's for sure.
I definitely see a rematch in winners finals, and sorry, in grand finals, not winners finals. Not how this thing works. A grands final, like, dude, Zelda Zealot's got to be scared. I mean, you look at the numbers from last game, you're like, holy shit, we're going against them. Like, I would be shaking in my boots at least. That is for sure.
All right. So, wait, I'm unmuted on stream, but we should be heading into the next match.
Thank you, Tio Saya.
That's good to hear. So we got ORBITZ versus Demons Raw coming up. The roster is on ORBITZ side, Ginger Pop, Geek, and Lumos against Gumi, Sungold, and Nakadashi. So let's see what's gonna come out. Do you have an idea of how the rosters are gonna end up looking in terms of who they're going to pick? Assuming no bans go through, what do you think is the ideal roster that people pick on both sides?
Okay, so if no bans happen, is ORBITZ are easily running a Rune Asher comp. It's their favorite. It's their go-to. Ginger's Rune is simply just uncomparable to anyone else. And to pair with that Rune, a scorer like Asher is just a perfect fit. And I think Geek is just in love with the Dubu, mostly because he plays on like 10,000 ping. Dubu might be the only playable goalie on that thing. So I definitely expect that from them. Now, the other side, I'm actually not sure. I haven't been watching them too much. I know Gumi has been practicing some Jakar goalie in ranked. I don't know if it's going to come out. But that's about all the information I got. Also, I think Sungold plays Kai. So maybe a Kai forward pick here.
I believe Nakadashi is a era player. I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
But you know what? It never hurts to do a quick corestrike.gg lookup.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm doing. Shout out Resnok. Core Strike is fucking goated. I love this. Let's see. He's actually an Estelle era player.
Okay.
Estelle
So
is
he's
extremely
that
strong.
midfield player.
I can imagine that Estelle will be coming out maybe Estelle Jakar from the team. Estelle Jakar is still a top tier comp. It doesn't seem to be ran as much, but I still firmly believe it is one of the better comps. It is like once you hit level 10, the game is just over for the other team.
You have the adrenaline rush Drakkar. He's so fast. He gets a single kill, and it's because of the adrenaline rush reducing the cooldowns. You have your ultimate up very quickly, usually within 10 seconds, and that is really scary because a Drakkar with an ultimate and 3 shotgun shots is enough to kill anyone on the map, even the enemy goalie. So having your full combo up is scary on Drakkar.
Yep, and I after some deep in-depth research, seems like Estelle Julie or Estelle Asher is going to be coming out from Demons Raw. And I think Estelle Julie, I actually prefer Estelle Julie over Estelle Asher because one, you always have the option to ban Asher out, which is always a great pick. But another thing is that Estelle Julie just has a lot of kill pressure. You take Stinger prime time on Estelle, and once you're level 10, you permanently are applying Stinger to the other team. It's doing constant damage, and then Julie can come in and finish the kills with a quick dash punch or ulti, or dash punch ulti, dash punch, and you can do anything. That character doesn't have cooldowns. So
One thing I'm curious is if we're going to see Julie today, are we going to be seeing the rise of Super Surge? I wasn't able to see what trainings were being run in earlier matches. I know that Julie was being picked, whether it was Bells picking it. Uh, I I don't know if Bells is the creator of the Super Surge Julie, but I definitely feel like he is with his presence on the ladder. I feel like this man has been testing Super Surge Julie for a while, and all of a sudden this patch, I've been seeing Super Surge Julie in every single one of my games. So that is something to take a look out for. It's a pick that allows for very high powerful stuffing and usually high kill potential on the enemy goalie.
yeah, I think I know we were talking about it a lot with those thanks to the recent trading guide that Saya released. Um, I think Super Surge is really strong. I actually
Whoa, whoa,
a
whoa, whoa,
lot
whoa,
of
whoa, whoa!
Juliets
Don't tell
running
the
it.
people that it released it.
I've been
It's in
The
alpha.
work in
I've been
progress
told
closed
also.
alpha training guide.
This training guide doesn't even exist anymore. I actually lied again.
It's
The
actually just a training memo. It is not a training guide.
been informed otherwise. But anyways, Super Surge Julie, I think, is super strong. I know I was talking to Dak a little bit about it too, but he doesn't play Julie, so his opinion's irrelevant. But he says that Super Surge isn't bad, but I also watched him die to Super Surge Julie on repeat in my duo queue with him. I think Super Surge Julie has pretty good killing pressure and just like you can also like dash to the side and then punch. I know Julie's like to do that sometimes and just like really catch the goalies off guard. And I think it's pretty hard to defend against and has a little extra kill power. Though perfect form is also insanely good. It's like it's a really tough balance. I really feel like perfect form just provides so much kill potential too. This dash punch, ulti dash punch is just like it's just too good. It's the ultimate bread and
Yeah,
butter on it.
I've been seeing typically, or I should say more recently, Julie's going double green, one red training. The red usually being unstoppable in solo queue, but I don't think that's going to be the case when it comes to like tournament play or organized play. We'll most likely end up seeing like tempo swing or heavy hitter just for a little bit more damage on the Julie, with the other two trainings being super surge with stacks or super surge with perfect form. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be the most common set of picks. Built different is still always a good pick, but I think people are just enjoying going double green instead.
Yeah, I think double green is definitely the move. I forgot that Julie actually has a built-in green training. I think what is the build with it? Is it Super Surge, heavy-handed perfect form? I think is the popular one on Super Surge. It's up your kill pressure. You hit the core a little bit harder. I think that's what they like to run on Super Surge. Then again, I'm not a degenerate, so I don't play Julie. So I don't really know. But
It's tough one there. I feel like Julie is one of the picks that this patch, or specifically more recently in this patch, because this patch has been out for quite a bit now, has been getting updated trainings where people are still discovering what is good on her. And the thing I like about Julie on this patch is that she's no longer this uh like on release character that AOs all the time, but is more focused on scoring. We are transitioning into game though, so we are currently here looking at the side of Gumi Nakadashi Sun Gold. That is the side we'll be viewing on the left. with let me get everyone's name right before I screw anything up. With Ginger Pop, Geek, and Lumos on the right side.
This is an interesting comp. Era is widely considered to be one of the worst picks on the patch right now. Ultimately, kind of just a worse Kai. I think that Era is going to have a really hard time in the Kaius matchup, and getting the midfield control is going to be difficult. And one thing to note is it seems like we are on West Coast servers, so Geek might whip out the Iron Wall here.
Yeah, I can see it from the bottom right. We have a bit of a 100 ping from our side as spectators, which means we are on West Coast. And let's see how a Geek performs, and specifically Gumi, right? Is there going to be a big difference in the goalies this particular game?
Yeah, it's really rare to see the Geek on just so low ping. So I mean, this is really a sight to behold. But Geek's actually gonna be dying to the air tornado. I'm telling you, that skin is pay to win. He didn't see the tornado; it's invisible.
I've been yelling at hook resets day and night for not using that skin on my team because there's so many particles coming out.
It's so pay to win. But anyways, Luma's gonna pick up the kill. He's gonna be wide open from the net. Gumi gonna be ulting it away, but they're gonna be pressure again. Oh, just 2v1 right in front of the net. There's no one to block off the mid pressure. Gumi's doing a great job defending it though. Lumos unable to find the finish as Ginger Pop kind of keeps it away. But again, another 2-on-0 in front of the net, and another save by Gumi. Gumi's defenders really letting him out to dry, or they maybe just have ultimate faith in Gumi. It's really hard to tell.
You can see that every time they're going for an attack, Nakadashi and Sungold aren't there to cover the cross. So it is just like surprising that Gumi is stopping them, but these are goals that should be going in if they keep happening.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do some pressure to answer this Julie. Ideally, this era is gonna be keeping this Julie shrunken most of the game, so that way she has a hard time getting to the core and just reducing her size. I mean, built different is a pretty popular training on Julie, and because of the size, how important the size matters. So, I think the shrink on Julie is gonna be coming out a lot. But anyways, Geek putting up another wall. It's gonna be a battle of the goalies, it seems, this game. As another 2-on-0 attack happens, it seems like the defenders are kind of not really playing the cross that much, and attackers getting a lot of room to work it.
They're really clumped up, which is something that I want to see them spread out a little bit more, but good attempt from Sungold. Geek using his low ping to stop that, putting out the fortress as well, but Sungold's stagger is now broken. They're probably going to be looking to KO him.
Yeah, Luma's using all of his abilities, not going to be able to find the answer, and he won't have those abilities up to finish the thing. There's a really big problem with Julie, is that she is, like, use your abilities to kill someone, but then you don't have them to score and finish. And, you know, Kai's got a pretty good scoring setup too with the barrage, but it's kind of, you have to find a balance between kills and not. And as I said, Ginger Pop's going to find the kill with barrage.
That's a pretty big because taking a look at the training, Sungold is on stacks. So now he's back down to 0. He's not going to have the movement speed. And even though, like, with Nakadashi providing him haste, like, it's still probably not going to be enough to keep up with I and Lumos.
No, as Bells is one of, obviously, the best Juliet player, and he really thinks stacks isn't that good, that you don't need the extra movement speed on Julie. Because your goal is to kind of sit there and score. And so you don't need the extra movement speed to help your team play midfield. Your era is kind of there to play midfield for you. You need to sit in front of that, hit Geek with the dash punch, and kind of there. And, like, your stack, you have pretty much 2 trainings dedicated to staying alive. You have Unstoppable to support your stacks. So you're committing all these resources into movement speed that is only, you're just going to get staggered and die anyways.
So and Nakadashi just died earlier with stacks as well, putting them both back down to 0. Neither one is back at 100, and there goes Sungold again, getting no value out of these stacks whatsoever.
No, these stacks are just not getting good value. However, Gumi and Giga is putting up a majestical performance. Like, this kill after kill coming out as Lumos is going to be able to find another kill, putting some CC on Sungold, and you know, a 2-on-2 with Julia's up, you're not going to find the goal very, very often. But
even with Sungold getting that, like, revenge KO on Ginger Pop doesn't really care. He doesn't have stacks, and what I was just about to say is it looks like the aggression coming from ORBITZ eventually is going to crack, and they're simply just going to score.
Oh,
and there
dude,
it is.
What a Giga Blast. Both of the Giga Blasts. Not only did Ginger Pop realize that Nakadashi was playing, sorry, not Nakadashi, Gumi was playing a little too far back, but also the ability to Giga Blast that last core hit is really hard to do and puts them up 1-0. And there's 1 goal in 4 minutes. Really speaks volumes about the levels of defense being played.
I think Gumi is playing really good. And, like, you know, he made a mistake of standing that far back, which allowed him to die. I think this is actually more on the side of the forwards not playing to their best. You can see the amount of pressure being put on, Sun Gold is constantly at half, always looking like he's always on the verge of dying. There it is again. His stacks is not doing anything for him. Nakadashi is running around trying to catch this ball, but losing in that midfield battle to that #1 midfielder in NA, Ginger Pop.
Yeah, Kai is way too fast for Air to handle and has way better stealthing pressure. That's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Kai just has way more damage output and better mid pressure than Air. Like, Air's only true benefit is buffing the Julie, which, I mean, it's just not that good, to be honest. And as you can see,
Yeah.
it's not really working out for them. But Sun
Good.
Gold,
Great stuff from Sun Gold, just shoving it right through Lumos and Geek while having the arrow buff on.
yep, no, I will say the air buff does help. It's like makes you like 35% bigger and 40% more power, so it helps a lot. But I just think that the overall benefit that Kai brings to your team is just more than what Air is doing. I think the midfield diff has been pretty noticeable this game, and that's due just to the Air pick. Though the game's still 1-1, so it could really swing either way.
A really good fortress from Geek, clearing it right back to Lumos. Ginger Pop and Lumos have a great setup right now, and that teamwork
Ooh.
coming in clutch. Constantly passing it
pass.
back. Although Nakadashi was a little bit late, he was there to cover the cross. He simply just lost that strike war with Lumos when he was pressing his punch.
Yeah, I mean, that pass was wonderful. Ginger Pop passing it right into Lumos' fiery punch is amazing. Oh, and a pay-to-win NATO coming out from Nakadashi, killing Geek.
He got the Vampire Era putting down the wallet, saying, I can simply spend more money than you. Coming out with a great KO on Geek, which, on lower ping, you got no excuse for that, Geek.
Nope, that is a $13 well spent, leading them to another goal. That's the second time Geek has died to NATO this game.
And Sun Gold walking up might get an opportunity to score here. And
Oh,
great.
another goal.
Yeah, both Nakadashi and Sun Gold were standing on top of each other, just making sure, like, let's spam all of our abilities, something will go in.
Yeah, the other attackers were just not really there to help defend, and there's not a lot they could do. In the corner where Julie is, ooh, and Geek throwing out the ult might have been a misclick, but it doesn't matter because Lumos is going to finish it off with a Juliet ulti on top of Gumi.
So there's a bit of unlucky there, and I think you simply just cannot react fast enough. Gumi hit it back into Lumos, or he hit it down and he hit the goal box or the retreating goal gates that didn't fully open yet, and it caused it to bounce back into Lumos's flurry. If he hit
Oh.
it, there was an angle for him to clear, and it would have simply gone out. But in those situations, it really is tough, right? Where you just have a Juliet in your face flurrying you, and you're like, well, this is going in.
Ooh, good reaction by Gumi to realize that Lumos is really trying to set up the dribble and the dash punch, and Gumi is reacting really well to it. And despite all of the offensive pressure that Ginger Pop and Lumos have been having on the attack, it seems like Gumi is just putting up an iron wall, being able to stop the barrage. It's insanely impressive.
What great patience. I really like what Ginger Pop did. So he was following the core rather than hitting it in because he knows that it's Gumi's opportunity, or Gumi is in the position where he has to strike it back first. So Ginger Pop was waiting for that strike to come out so that he could put it back in and guaranteeing that he would get the score. But I believe Sun Gold was there and just simply dash punched it out, or using his punch to force it through Ginger Pop.
Yeah, Ginger Pop and the rest of ORBITZ going to be down a goalie after a good kill by Sun Gold, but Sun Gold is going to get traded back by Lumos. And Lumos Ginger Pop going to have another 2-on-1 attack, which felt like it's been existing almost all game. But Gumi's been shutting him down. These goalies this game are playing amazing, and another great save by
great
Gumi.
save.
Oh, and another kill. Amazing defense coming out from Rock Dragons. Oh, and just a perfect 15 seconds played by Demon's Rock. That is just a super, super well played.
Gumi coming in with the BM saying, I'm the better goalie even on worst ping. I like to see a little bit of toxic trait here. But one thing to point out is we've been seeing a lot of KOs all of a sudden. And in overtime, they matter so much more.
Yeah.
That entire last 30 seconds was just spent with either a 2v2 or a 3v2 and something like that. So who can take better advantage of it? And what an insane pass. What the was that, Nakadashi? Good stuff.
Dude, what a passing play. Nakadashi almost messing it up, shooting it right at Geek, but it does not matter as Geek preemptively rolled. And that's going to be game one, the Demon's Raw, and that's going to be 5-1. Gumi, 126 redirects. Like, again, Gumi, the real MVP here. Shutting down Ginger Pop Lumos, just attack after attack is insanely impressive.
I don't know if anyone else was on West Coast that game, from either side, or specifically from Demon's Roar, but man, they played like that was their server. So good stuff from them. We saw great teamwork at the end. I still think it is important to criticize the trainings here. You were constantly dying, and I think the stacks on stacks needs to go. Yes, you won, it worked out, but I think you're a little bit hindering yourself with those trainings. Other than that, you guys played great. One having a man up, and that was really good passing there. And this is like Bruiser era coming out with the KOs on Geek, so keep that up too.
I see. So we got information that the whole entire team is West Coast. And no, this has been a really hot topic of debate within the tournaments because the whole entire West Coast teams are they're kind of hard to deal with because if you're playing with 3 West Coast players and you get West Coast, it's really just a server thing. It applies for West Coast players playing on East Coast. Is that I know recently the biggest controversy was with Redstarok's team winning the most recent Striker Saturday. And a big deal with that is that they're on West Coast pretty much the whole tournament. And when you're playing on 100 ping, 120 ping, and the other, like you're playing on 20 ping, and the other team's playing on 120 ping, like there's only so many options the other team can do. Of course, Geek is on West Coast, so Geek is really putting up the wall right now. And like obviously, the defense is amazing right now, but you can only do so much with just defense. You have to put the core inside the goal. And when your strikers are playing from probably like West Africa, if you looked at their ping, it's really hard to deal with. They're gonna have a really hard time scoring, and I don't see the service switching due to there being 4 West Coast players in the game.
Yeah, so if that's the case, ORBITZ is simply just going to have to play better if they want to win more. So let's see what they bring out here. I see an Estelle. Okay, so we're getting word that we might be getting preferred server here.
See,
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
interesting. So it looks like we are getting West Coast on purpose here, because that is what Geek wants. So it looks like Lumos and Ginger Pop understand this going into this match, and they're simply just trying to play better on worse ping.
I mean, obviously, I'm not Orbits, but I feel like I have to disagree with that. I don't know what Ginger Pop and Lumos' ping are like, but my understanding is that they're still playing on like 80 ping. And I think having your attackers have the ping is really important. But I do like the adjustment in con because Geek is obviously putting in a lot of work, and so I think you should have a little more control over mid on the Estelle pick than he did on the Dubu pick. And rare to see Geek Estelle because normally he's playing Dubu because he's on 120 ping. So this is a one-of-a-kind viewing experience. And Orbit's down 1-0, really needing a win here to bring the games back to even.
I really like the Lumos pick going to the Drek. We're over here playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Let's see if they can pull it off here. At least bring it into OT where those KOs matter so much more. Drek is level 10. He did not bring Adrenaline Rush. Maybe he's not confident on it with the higher ping. But Castellas, the benefit of that is while you don't get the insane like double KOs through Adrenaline Rush or these like stacking killing sprees, you will be able to KO over time more consistently because the Castellas is going to be doing more damage with your ultimate. And there it is. He striked into the shotgun, pretty much forcing it out. The only way Gumi can protect that is if he had his own barrage up. Whether he did or not, we don't know. But without any abilities up, that's simply just going to go in.
Yeah, the strike shotgun is just the bread and butter of Jakar, and it's just a super good way to put it into the net. But I am really big fan of the Jakar pick. Drek is a really good pick into Julie, probably one of Julie's worst matchups. And Era too. Era also struggles into Drek because she has no real movement options around Jakar. And this game has just been a slaughter so far. I mean,
what a great angle. So that only happens in that exact situation because Lumos ends up hitting Gumi with the ultimate with Castellas. That ends up causing the slow on Gumi to be so strong and to last longer. He cannot walk up and strike back to the shot that Ginger Pop made.
Yeah, it's really that's difficult. And also, I mean, look at this level advantage that they have. Lumos is level 8 on level 3 Julie. I mean, that's like a one shotgun, and their whole entire health bar is gone. They're going to have a really rough time recovering from this game.
Level 9, almost 10. We're going to get the prime time in a second. Oh my goodness. Sungold comes in and Sungold goes out.
He dash punched himself off the edge of the stage.
Lumos is level 10 to Sungold level 4, having to take the orb just to catch up in EXP a little bit. But look at these random shots that are coming in, doing half of his stagger.
Yeah, I would hate to call the game early, but I mean, Ginger Pop and Geek's team, they just scale way harder, and they've already finished. Lumos is already level 10. The prime time is out, but Sun Gold
but-
does not care. Level 5 Juliet putting it right in
Trying
Jakar's mouth.
trying a gold bag, and it's huge that Sun Gold specifically gets it because he needs that EXP the most. He's down so much. I am so glad that Sun Gold was either listening in or decided on his own, but he got rid of the stacks on stacks. God bless this man, because oh my god, he would have been worthless this game if he stayed on that training.
Oh yeah, that is a really smart thing. I mean, once you see with Jakar, you have to realize that if you take stacks, you are not getting stacks for the rest of the game. It is just gonna sit there as dead weight, you get like 30 stacks and then die to primetime Jakar. You simply don't live against primetime Jakar. Really close goal.
Almost a good.
the arrow.
I think that if the swarm was fully, it looked like it wasn't all the way grown. If it was fully there, I think it scores, but it probably wouldn't have been in that position. Either way, good attempt from them. Sun Gold on death's door again. Let's see if he gets pushed out here.
And
There it
Invis in
is.
the
Oh
shotgun.
my god, he's so powerful.
Oh, it looks like a double kill could be coming out here. Gingerpop might finish with Giga. Oh, but no, Geek's actually going to be the one to finish the kill as it comes back. And I mean, God, the respawn timers in this game are just so low. Before, I mean, it's like 5 or 6 seconds. It's borderline non-existent right now. And without Adrenaline Rush, when Jakar gets a kill, he actually doesn't have any cooldowns up.
Yeah, really
And
good.
he's
A
gonna
really
sit
good
there.
point from them. I will point out though that I don't think it was correct for Geek to clear to Lumos in that situation because Sun Gold was there with with Ginger Pop being free on the bottom side. He managed to get the point anyways, and such an early KO, and it just slides in. Gumi with the point this time. He's saying, "Don't worry, team, I got this." Goalie diff.
Yeah, what a goal. And the insta-kill from... I mean, that's the third time Geeks died to NATO this series. Is the NATO, the $13 NATO really just that good, or is Geek just kind of not being aware? I mean, that last NATO was pretty good. I think he had to be there to stop the options, but
Sun Gold gone again. He is level 10 though, so the gap has closed a little bit.
yeah, I mean, you can really see the effects of the respawn timer nerf this game because I mean, Lumos kills someone and they're just right back up, and that's why Jakar Estelle is not really seen that much right now. Like, yeah, sure, you can get like 12, 15 kills a game. It's hard to make them mean anything. Even in overtime, the kills just really don't mean that much. That's a kill. He's down for 11 seconds, and they're gonna be ooh.
Oh, but a little bit of miscommunication there. Lumos trying to pass it back to Ginger Pop. The barrage stops the
Ooh.
pass, but Lumos by himself still manages to score in that bottom pocket.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't matter. You know, Ginger Pop did kind of block off Lumos, but in the end, Strike Shotgun is undefeated right in front of the net.
We're 1-1 in winners file, and remember, this is the first of which the games will start being best of 5. We are going to whoever wins 3 games first, and it could potentially be 5 games with how it's looking so far.
Yeah, this is going to be a very close series. It seems like the picks on Jakar Estelle just did miles of work. And Sun Gold, and you would have a hard time believing he was actually here the whole entire game if you looked at the stat line. I mean, Sun Gold's just getting farmed by Lumos.
Unfortunately for Sun Gold, I believe he spent more time dead than he did alive that game.
That's impressive to do, too. Like 5-second respawn timers, like.
Little bit of a gray screen if you get that reference from League of Legends. Let's see. It looks like the same comp is coming out. I'm hoping to see the Jakar picked again, and it is. Lumos going to be on the Jakar. It's looking like the same exact comp. They're running it back. If it didn't, if it's worked, don't change it.
Yeah, interesting to see the era Julie Kai come out again. I mean, Julie is super bad into Jakar. I mean, Jakar just kind of farms you as you try to do anything. His shotgun cancels your dash punt. It's just really bad for it. I don't see why they're trying to do the run back. You will see a different training coming up from Julie. He's running well-fed this time. But I don't think the well-fed's going to stop Jakar from triple shotgunning her off the map.
Right, and look at Nakadashi already about to die. They're probably going to leave her until they can guarantee that they can kill Nakadashi. I actually don't agree with that shotgun shot if they don't plan on finishing him off. You should have simply just left him at high stagger. Yeah,
it is a little rough to kind of in the moment realize oh shit, I can't do that. But also, normally that probably would have killed, but the unstoppable bug-ish type interaction where you don't get the full knockback on the hit that cracks.
Yep, I've had that happen a lot. As an average Jakar player myself, I simply do not play Jakar in this patch unless I have a knockback orb set for me or a teammate that I know can stagger them.
Yeah, really good saves by Geek, and oh my god, a Giga Blast to stuff Gumi. It's,
He glances to stuff Gumi, and it like manages to go through his body far enough where his barrage cannot touch the core.
Yep.
But look at the plays. Look at how spread out Lumos and Ginger Papa are, constantly getting both sides of the gold covered so that they can simply shoot or pass if they need to. Whereas Nakadashi and Sun Gold are simply just trying to live. But Gumi with a nice follow-up to get rid of Lumos.
Yeah, I mean, Lumos is like a shepherd, and he's just putting them all into the corner that he wants them to be in. And look at this, they're double committed to the bottom side of the map. If Ginger Pop is able to get it in those situations, it's probably almost a guaranteed goal.
Yeah, they need to do a better job of spreading out. Sun Gold did manage to get Geek out. Geek being the most susceptible to dying on the side of Team ORBITZ. The guy with the lowest ping. Let's see if they can clear. And here it is, Lumo spreading out. Look at Ginger Pop hovering towards the middle, making sure that nothing gets there. The moment he gets the core, he's going towards the bottom. They seem like they already have a game plan down on how they want to score each point. Always spread out. And this is the type of like interaction that I want to see from Demons.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger Pop and Lumos definitely have a lot of time together.
Oh,
They've
but
been a
2
team since the
KOs
outset.
from Sun Gold and Nakadashi.
Oh,
They're going crazy in the net. The Julie definitely putting work in there. He got 5 well-fed stacks. No longer cares about how much stagger he's at, and he's just saying, "Yeah, I can fight."
interesting that he's going unstoppable here. You know, typically you see well-fed tempo swing when well-fed comes out. I
And make
wonder
sure you
if
never get broken.
yeah, I wonder if tempo is the option here. I'm no stealth player, Julie player, so I'm not really sure. But it seems like the team is dying regardless of what trainings they have, and this can be another chance for Lumos to strike shotgun it. But Gumi using all of his CDs to stop them from scoring.
Sun Gold's still managing to get it in. So while I'm not a fan of how they're going around these attacks with Nakadashi and Sun Gold being clumped up a lot, Nakadashi is winning these 50s. He's winning the midfield, and he's getting the core to Sun Gold.
Yeah, I know. And into Estelle Gully, like Estelle Gully's whole thing is you're using all of your abilities to keep it on the other half of the field. When the core is in your face, you pretty much have no options. Like Julie Dash Punch is borderline guaranteed into Estelle.
Right, because a lot of what Estelle needs to do is stop the core from ever making it to their half or their goal box. And if you manage to let a Julie bring the core to your goal box, you have already kind of like lost your like fight with Estelle, right?
Oh yeah, but right now Geek is doing a great job of helping them win midfield, and the core haven't had a real attack for this series.
Here we're seeing the benefits of Estelle, where he was able to keep it on their side and it allowed Ginger Pop to stay up without having to come back and fetch it himself, so they can make more aggressive plays here. And oh, what a great teleport from Geek, pushing it out before Sun Gold could get the core.
Yeah, I'd love to see the teleport saves. They always look super hype, almost as hype as that goal. As Lumos is going to find it right around Gumi and Sun Gold, really just not being able to do anything about it. I feel like there's some cooldowns up. Maybe could have, maybe could have squeezed out a save, but a great play nonetheless.
Yeah, both Sun Gold and Gumi were kind of stacked on top of each other, so they weren't able to cover different angles. Oh, and a great beam from Nakadashi, pushing it in, saying like, I can be a little bit of a Estelle myself.
True. The era is just easier to hit beam, but the issue with trying to score a beam is it slows down the core. So if your goalies have any abilities up, they can actually react to it. But right there, pretty hard to react to in a great beam.
And we're 20 seconds away from overtime. Death timers are still a little bit low right now, but given another 15 seconds, Lumos and Gingerpop can start going for these KOs first before they push for an attack.
Yeah, 3-2. Only one more goal needs to come out from Demons in order for them to go not onto the next round because it's a best of 5, but get in a great position in order to win the series. And this could be it. 3-on-1.
That was the
card back
perfectly
up.
timed KO because it happened right as they went into overtime, making
that's
sure
it.
Gingerpop stays dead.
What a play. You know, it's wild to see that Julie and Air are actually able to have way more kill pressure on something like Kai Estelle Jakar.
Yeah,
Seems
I'm
like-
not sure what happened there, but it looks like the KOs weren't really converting to anything. They were really, like, whenever down a man, they were still able to hold it down on the side of Demons.
Yeah, it's kind of the brawling meta is that you're using all your cooldowns to kill, you can't really do much. And of course, it kind of goes both ways. But it seems like it seems like Demons were able to get a lot more value out of the kills than ORBITZ could.
Yeah, I think Nakadashi on Era was putting a lot of work these last 2 games. Always there, pushing it back. He's been winning these strike wars and getting it through Ginger Pop. The swarms have been put in really good spots, and he's always just there to back up Sun Gold. So while they all are clumping up, Sun Gold's been just shoving his cooldowns on the goal and just saying, "Hey, Nakadashi, just throw the core in here, and it'll go in with Estelle."
Yeah, I'm wondering what the value of well-fed from holy shit, who was playing Juliet last game?
Sun Gold.
I was wondering if well-fed really did anything there, because in my opinion, it seemed like he was still kind of getting farmed on repeat.
I think it still took a few more shots, and that's what mattered. Where Lumos, as at a Drek, when you're going up against someone with well fed, usually like without well fed, you'll do your double shotgun plus your ultimate, and it's about like 75% of someone's health. So you simply wait for the next rotation up, and you can kill them with a singular shotgun shot. But it was taking a lot more cooldowns out of Lumos to KO, which the point that you were making before, where they get the KO and they don't have their cooldowns up, that looked like it was the case. But we're getting a little bit of swap here. Asher's coming out on both sides, so it looks like Asher was probably one of the bans happening, and they simply swapped it here. Maybe it was the Asher to Jakar, and now allowing Asher through.
I see. It's interesting. Asher is it's really going to put pressure on who can win mid better. Now, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Era Asher. I think it's a good comp. I think the Era speed boost and size boost gives Asher just so much more scoring tools than they normally have. So I think if I were in this game, I'd rather be Demons.
Let's see, they are up 2-1 games. If they win this, they're moving on to winners grands.
I mean, it's super interesting to see ORBITZ lose here. ORBITZ are widely regarded as the best team currently in Omega, and the last tournament performances, if they lose here, could really spell it otherwise.
And look at all the pressure. So we're flipped over here. ORBITZ is now on the left side, on blue side. And already, like, they've KO'd Lumos once. Lumos is about to go again. Sun Gold level 3. Let's see what trainings they are running. So both Lumos and Sun Gold, the Asher players, are running the exact same trainings of Built Diff, Unstoppable Crossover.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of the Kai and the Asher matchup. I really like what Geek's doing with Dubu Castellas. Like, if Asher gets in your face, you just roll Stunner and clear. Kai doesn't really have those options. If Asher's in your face with Kai, it's kind of game over. And you might see it right here. Oh, but a great save on the line by Gumi, able to keep them alive. But then again, Lumos just comes back. And again, Kai has no tools to answer the Asher right in their face.
Yeah, so I think that's a bit of a mistake on Gumi's side. He tried to clear it back up through the Asher. You simply just hit down there, and it's getting through. I'm going to chalk that. While it is an Asher moment, Gumi had the ability to save it there. But if you look on the side of Geek, one important thing to note from his training is he brought Castellas, which I made a point of this in the last Striker Saturday. Dubus against Ashers typically want to bring Castellas because it's enough of a stun where when you stun the core and Asher, you can push the core out through the Asher without having to worry about her getting any counter abilities up.
True. I mean, the other option you see a lot is acrobatics. Being able to have 2 Dubu rolls is good. I think the stun on Dubu roll is long enough for you to get a normal clear off. Though Cash Slash is a lot safer. But I think there, maybe if you had Acro, another stun could have came up and stopped them from dying.
It's a tricky situation there, but we saw now 2 Asher scoring through, Sun Gold for 1, Lumos for 1. And I think it's just going to be a matter of which Asher is going to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, I think, again, like the Asher v Asher matchup, it's a very, very dependent on who's winning midfield. If your team's winning midfield, you're going to score.
And what an unfortunate defense from Gumi. The barrage just missing. Core going through perfectly between the barrage shots.
Yeah, really, really unlucky timing. But a great goal from ORBITZ nonetheless. It seems like there might be another goal brewing up soon, as this mid control, there's no abilities on the side of Demons, and they're going to get it through.
Yeah, Sun Gold just used his ultimate. It won't be up for a bit. And there's another example of I simply just don't agree with that type of goalkeeping from Gumi. He's throwing it back into the Asher nearly every single time. And eventually, if you keep doing that, you're just going to get scored on.
Lumos is playing a great Asher. Your only really option on Kai is to kind of stuff him with Barrage. Now that he's level 10, he will have Barrage up almost every time. But I think the Asher passive is going to be enough to kick it through. But it looks like that's not going to matter as Demons Raw scoring another goal, tying the game up 2-2.
Nice goal from Nakadashi. You can see from the way Geek ended up striking, he thought Nakadashi was going to go for that bottom corner, but he sinks into that top pocket.
Yep. You gotta go mix up the goalie sometimes because obviously it makes the most sense to shoot opposite side of the goalie, but sometimes shooting it to the short side is really your best option.
There is another attempt from Lumos on goal. We're going to see one more, but nice clear from Gumi. He does manage to make it out. Lumos is dagger broken, might get KO'd here if anyone has abilities. But it looks like they simply don't have the resources. Never mind. Sun Gold comes back, has the primary up, gets rid of Lumos. Now they're up 2-1, seeing if they can clear through the top side.
Yeah, a bit of his positioning earlier there from Demons, as Arrow was kind of up closer towards the goal and Asher's in the back. You really want your Asher to be up front inside of net while your Arrow takes care of midfield.
Another situation where the barrage, well, actually, in that case, it was a little bit of late reaction on Gumi. The first barrage doesn't come out until the core is already passed.
Yeah, super unlucky there. Then you get locked in your animation. It's just really hard to deal with.
A good passing here. Sun Gold and Nakadashi still on the same side, but there it is. The pay-to-win Storm coming in, $13 for a KO. Is it enough to push it into the goal?
It seems like it is not, as Geek is back up and Sun Gold is very, very low. It looks like he could die to any ability, but it's not going to be Asher primary. As they're both cracked, Junior Pop might have a free 1-on-2. A kill from Lumos. Can we see another one on Nakadashi? And it looks like Nakadashi is going to regen up to full HP.
Oh, but they set up such a great attack on their goal. Wasn't enough, though. Fortress coming down, blocking off the bottom side. Ginger Pop and Lumos making a good attempt to try to score here. Lumos cracks, Sun Gold cracks. Someone is bound to die here. But no, the bounce off that corner. What a perfectly angled shot. It looks like it wasn't going to bounce up and it was going to bounce out from hitting the bottom side of that wall. But I've been in those situations. You simply get unlucky sometimes.
Super, super unlucky bounce. I was very confident that was going to bounce out. Just like the dead bounce kind of towards the other corner. And it's just really unfortunate to see that.
But it is 3-3. It is a really different game with double Asher instead of the Juliet Drek.
Yeah, you know, I think the Ashers are doing great. I think the Ashers is just... Oh, Lumos is just so good. He's just doing a great job of controlling the core by himself and just finishing it up with an Asher primary.
Yeah, that was a great. He snatched it from behind him because of build different. What a huge hitbox. And the angle that it was at, I don't believe there was anywhere for Gumi to send it there. It was just gonna go in.
Yeah, really great checkmate style play coming out from ORBITZ.
Oh, the Giga Blast finishing off Sun Gold. Now they're in a situation where they can easily score or pass between themselves.
Gumi
almost. I was about to call it there.
Could this end the series? And it does. Not the series.
We're going to a game 5.
Game 5. Love to see the addition of Asher. I'm wondering who was banning Asher, though. I mean, surely it must have been ORBITZ banning Asher as they lost last game and maybe a ban switch comes in. But Lumos
maybe it was ORBITZ banning the Asher and then swapping over to a Julie ban. I don't know if we have confirmation anywhere, but that's my guess as of right now. Lumos playing the Asher grade. I don't think Gumi did the best in response to the Asher. There was a couple of goals that went in that he simply could have saved if he cleared in a better direction. A lot of the times, you cannot clear into the stuffing characters. As a Asher player on both forward and defense, if you want to clear it, you have to clear it away, right? These stuffing characters, if you throw it back into them, their hitboxes will just push it through. But if you snatch it away and send it to the other side, they won't get the opportunity or they won't have the reach to touch the core afterwards. It's one of those things, though. You have to just react in time. When someone's in your face like that and throwing hitboxes, if you don't react immediately, you just lost the point there. So it's not an easy character to clear against, but at the top level of play, we need to see a little bit better clearing.
Yeah, I'm wondering what type of ban come out here, because obviously the Asher did put in work, but you just can't leave Ginger Pop's rune up. Ginger Pop will just do everything to you if you use unrune. I think that might be the scariest thing in the game is Ginger Pop rune.
I would love to see a Rune come out here, but we know what kind of demon that character is, especially on someone who knows what they're doing with him. I think Rune already playing Rune at a medium skill level is so oppressive. I can't imagine someone who has a little bit more practice on him.
Yeah, we had a scrim against ORBITZ once, and that was the least fun hour of my life. Oh,
Lumos dribbling it in himself, using that top of the goal gates to push it back down.
look at that 1v3 by Lumos, just using Ash Pass or just W key right past Gumi, and that's going to be a horrible start for Demons in this game that determines their fate.
Little bit of a mental hit if I was on the side of Demons, but maybe they got a stronger mental than me, as the sayings of 2004 Lexus GX47 or 470, if they play better, they'll win more.
Yeah, being down, going down into game 5 does not feel good. Obviously you're not going to say anything when you're in the team comms, but just internally you're feeling like, oh shit, like we got to do something. We can't lose here.
A bit of a training change as well on the side of Sun Gold. So previously he had Stagger built different, but he swapped it out for Stagger Swagger, and that might have made a difference in this point right here.
Yeah, the Stagger Swagger is really good to see on the Asher, just because, you're not going to die on Stagger Swagger, especially against Kai, Asher, Dubu. Like, they just don't have the damage to fully crack you. Maybe Kai does later in the game, but...
And that's the type of save that I wanted to see from Gumi.
Oh, yeah, Gumi is just putting up the wall, but this 2-on-1 is going to be borderline unsavable. Gingerbot's going to miss the strike to finish it off. Unfortunate. Oh, and Lumos is going to miss the speed orb, but it might not matter as he goes for the stuff, but misses. If he has the speed orb there, I think that goes in.
Yeah, he might have been fast enough. He managed to live through that crack. Sun Gold's still down in levels though, and you can see the difference in the size when you're playing with Tilted versus against, or like with and without. Sun Gold is a decent amount smaller, which makes a big difference for stuffing the points in. And let's see if Lumos can score it, but it slides right through the Asher primary. Almost good clear from Gumi, sending it right back down, dancing on the goal line.
Yeah, Gumi's doing a great job. Lumos is just kind of doing what I'm talking about earlier. He sits in front of the goal and let Ginger Pop win mid. Ginger Pop is the best midfielder. He can 1v2 any mid duo in the game. So if Lumos is just sitting there waiting for Ginger just laid in his lap, Lumos is going to score like 70% of the time.
Yeah, one thing I would have liked to see from Sun Gold is, because he took Stagger Swagger Unstoppable, I would have liked to see stacks on stacks instead of crossover. You get a little bit more value out of it because you're not going to be dying. You'll be at 100 way more frequently. Oh, but Nakadashi with the great hit. I think if Geek hits it up, he clears, but it's hard there.
I don't know. I think the timing is pretty well timed. I think his only real answer is Dubu roll, but I was not sure if he had it up.
Yeah, maybe if he stuns it, it's fine, but I don't know the cooldown on the somersault. Oh, nope. Geek almost dying again to the Aerostorm. It looks like the wallet of Nakadashi is putting in a lot of work here.
The wallet diff is just too strong with demons. And I mean, that's like, just the value of the NATO. And I'm thinking that the air primary might be hitting a little harder than normal with that skin on.
Yeah, I think we might be generating honestly a few bit more revenue after this stream.
Yeah, hey, if any of you air players are out there and you want to hit Omega, just buy the new skin. Easy promotion.
Oh, great save from Gumi, sliding it right back down along the corners there, clearing it out just nice. But Lumos, look how close he is to getting cracked. Any ability is just going to send him off the edge now.
Yeah, as you can see, the stagger swagger from Sungold has really been putting in work. I don't think Sungold's been staggered once this game. And Lumos has just kind of been on the edge this whole entire time, which is really interesting to see because, Air's damage output is not very good. So I actually wondering what's causing this Asher to get so low.
Lumos still playing with no fear, staggered or not. He's playing the exact same way, which is what I like to see. Because on the side of Demons, they simply did not capitalize on him being staggered. I think they can take the time out, use an ability or two, confirm the KO on Lumos, and then push for the KO. Or then push for the score, but we're now having to play second goalie and third goalie because of all these KOs coming out.
Yeah, those KOs are leading the game into a live or die situation for ORBITZ. Of course you have losers bracket, but that's just a lot more games you don't want to play. And just one more gold and they're going to be in that bracket.
We're on match point now, 4-3 in favor of Demons. If they get this point, it's simply their set.
Yeah, Lumo's trying to do everything he can to stay alive. It looks like he's not. Oh, Lumo's gonna get every single ability from Sun Gold and end up living in the end.
And Nakadashi used everything as well. He has no Storm. He has no primary as right now. There it goes again. So,
Oh,
but
Lumos
Sun
needs
Gold
this goal.
with the KO, hitting perfectly in the sweet spot, getting that heavy hit on Geek and sending him out. He's been playing really close to the goal line, getting KO'd from so many abilities this series.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to into the Asher. Like, you really can't save it until the very last second, and that's when you kind of go in for a save.
Oh,
But
but
of
nice
course, you
KO from
die.
Sun Gold.
But it looks like they're going to get back up, and they're going to be even strength just for a little bit longer, even though they've been getting farmed. Ooh, a great Giga Blast coming out from Ginger, as Nakadashi is going to go down. Maybe we can get a goal, but no.
Okay, Nakadashi's back up, and that's the last of the short death timers. Everything from here on out is going to be so much more. And there's another example. Gumi, you have to send it down. That's 2 or 3 strikes he sent right back up into Lumos.
Oh yeah, both teams are feeling the adrenaline now. 4-4 overtime. 2 more goals if someone wants to go into the grand finals.
All right. One thing to note is that Nakadashi was on stacks, lost all of those.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard time to see Nakadashi come back into the game. And while he's currently out of the game, they're gonna have a lot more mid pressure and a lot more scoring opportunities. And I think this could spell doom for Demons.
And there goes Lumos again. But no stagger swagger. And I think that was such a good pickup from Sun Gold. It's making a huge difference here. And what an amazing ultimate from Sun Gold, pushing Geek out of the way, clearing up the entire upper side. In that situation, was there even anyone up besides Geek to save that? Or were both Ginger Pop and Lumos dead? I think actually both of them were dead, because if you take a look at Ginger Pop's stacks, it's back at 0.
Yeah, Ginger Pop fell fatal to the wallet of Nakadashi again. Another NATO coming out, ending the team's will to live. Unfortunate, and I think another kill came out from Sun Gold earlier in that series. So 1 more goal on the ropes. I'm sure that ORBITZ is feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, they're up on the side of Demons. They get to play more aggressive. They know that their KOs mean more, but what a nice shot from Lumos getting that bottom pocket.
Yeah, these more, like, I mean, they've been playing together for 2 years. These more experienced teams handle the pressure much, much better than the other teams. I think if ORBITZ go up 1-0, I think that Demons are going to feel the pressure really extreme and really badly, and it's going to cause them to choke it. So I think 1 goal from ORBITZ is all they really need. I think that's it.
Oh, that might be it, because now 1 more point, and that's all they're doing. So I like the aggression from Lumos. They're getting these points, or that point was super quick, right? Before any of these trainings, like Stagger Swagger could come in and make a difference, Lumos just shoves it in.
Yep, and you might see, when you're down like this, you kind of start to play more passive. It kind of changes the way that you're playing the game. You're like, oh, I can't let them score. If they score, we're out. So I think you might be seeing a little more passive play style coming out from both teams. But Sun Gold is still going to secure a kill on Lumos and turn this into a 2-on-3 for the next 6 seconds.
Yeah, having the man up is huge, and they are panicking on the side of ORBITZ. Look at how much they're grouped up. Anything could just simply slip right through.
Yeah, I think I can really see the panic coming in from Sun Gold. I think Sun Gold had the angle to score there and just kind of missed his shot placement. And that's it, 7-5. So
Yeah, that one is a tough one. What a great positioning from Lumos, covering the top side. Gumi could not clear up even if he wanted to. He just had to force it through. I think he had to go down the middle there, but it's tough. In that situation where you know that Lumos is on top of you and Ginger Pop is below, there's very little you can do.
Yeah, it's a super, super rough. And I think that they're just kind of unable to crack down the pressure. Like, once it's 6-5, I really felt I could see the change in gameplay coming out from Demons Raw. Because Demons played an amazing series, a close 3-2, but ORBITZ coming back from a 2-1 deficit in order to win the series and go into grand finals. And Demons Raw are going to be in losers finals.
Losers finals. So they're waiting for the winner of losers semi, which is going to be coming up next. We have Zealous Zealots and Surprise as our next game.
Ooh, this is the Bells PP7 team, and I am a big fan. I really like the Zealous US. And my favorite thing about their team is that pretty much all 3 people on the team do not speak anywhere. They're like ghosts in the community. Beast Mode started to talk a lot more, and I've heard Atomic speak once. And I don't think Huberto's ever typed a word in any Omega Strikers Discord, and I really love them for it.
Huberto is an enigma in this community, but he is an Omega. and that is a powerful player they have there. He is a flex player. He's good at forward. He's good at goalie, and I think that makes a really big difference as to how you play goalie when you have that experience playing forward as well. You know exactly what are the type of goalies that can beat you out. So
Yep.
they have a strong team here, and they've been playing together for a while. So this is a team with long-term synergy. Whereas on the roster of Surprise, exactly how their name indicates it, this is a fresh team put together. Although we know Bells and Firelight, or Vaughn in this case, are pretty good duo buddies. It's mostly solo queue in which we see all three of these players take a lot of, or where their name really shines.
And they mentioned a little fun fact about Zealous Zealots is that this isn't actually the first team that they've played together on. There's a little game called Zealot Hockey. I believe it's a StarCraft 2 mod, and a pretty small scene, but it looked like they played together. And holy shit, is that a Juno pick?
We got a Juno out here. It is time, boys.
It is time. It's interesting because most people do think that Juno is the counter to Rune. And Vaughn does have a pretty good Juno, but he's going to run Super Surge. I'm not the biggest fan of Super Surge Juno right now. I think as what the scoring pressure it offers is kind of neat and a cool little gimmick. I think Hot Shots is just infinitely better. And I think Vaughn's gonna have a really hard time keeping up with Beast Mode's cooldowns this game. Because
He's going for a little bit of more mid control with that eject button Super Surge pick. Let's see if it's enough. But PP7 on the Rune is a deadly person. If you've seen him play on Demon Hours, that man is a demon for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. The eject button is like you're missing out on durable things on Juno. And that's like 2 seconds of your slimes being up. Your slime's existence just creates so much pressure on the map, and you're losing a lot of that. In my opinion, not running durable is one of the worst things you can do on Juno outside of running large things. And you see, they're hard losing mid, which is not something that happens when you're playing Juno. Especially this Juno Rune that they have going on. There's no world where they should be losing midfield.
All right, and some things to point out here: Atomic Chronic running Stagger Swagger Unstoppable, making sure he stays alive. We also have Bells not running Super Surge. He's on heavy-handed perfect form, built diff. So let's see how much of a difference that makes. And one of the things with PP7 Rune is, although he's really good at stopping the goals before they occur, similar to Estelle, if you get Atomic Chronic in the goal line with the core, he's just going to do Asher things.
What a save by Beast Mode, using the pillar to put it in the net and put the stellar save. No, I know Beast Mode's been practicing the Rune a lot recently, and it seems like his practice is starting to pay off. His Rune's looking very good as Atomic just rams it straight through PP7, Vaughn, and the Bells.
And perfect example there of Asher doing Asher things. That's one of the, I would say, the cons of Rune goalie is you have to stop it before it gets there, or you need to have a pillar up so you can put it behind yourself in the goal and let it grow. If you don't have the reaction time to put the pillar down early, it's simply going to dissipate after the first hit.
Yeah, this mid gap right now is pretty enormous. Atomic is amazing on Asher. I think Atomic might be one of the most underrated players in the game. I think his ability to just stuff and finish on Asher is pretty much next to none. And so if Beast Mode is getting the core to Asher, it is going to be a win. Of course, Bells is the rank 2 player on the ladder. And Bells is just amazing at everything on Julie, but his scoring is also just extremely good. I think really this game's going to be a battle of midfield because both teams have excellent scores. And whatever score is getting the ball more is going to win.
Right, Bells is the #1 Julie in NA and might be #1 Julie, period. So he knows exactly how to score when given the core. Like you said, it might just be a matter of midfield here where trust that the scorers will know what to do, just get it to them.
I thought I taught Vaughn better than this, but apparently not. Maybe we need to see more Elo games before he starts running
And we might have to get back into Omega Strikers Elo matches, but Bells showing us what he knows how to do. Almost words. Bells putting it in the corner exactly like he knows how to do best, dribbling it from that top wall, perfectly sliding down into the goal.
Something I know very well about Vaughn is I'd like to see a little bit more clown emojis coming out from Zelda and Steelers. The clown emoji is the most tilting emoji in the game, and I know why I'm saying emoji, emote. And I think if you hit Vaughn with a couple clowns, I think it can really swing the match in your favor.
Right, there's a mental game going on top of what they're actually playing here. So let's see. The emo game is strong, and I know that Bells has some of the best communication in the entire world. So some of the comms that I might end up leaking here are, guys, let's score, and let's win. I think those are Bell's two most iconic comms that come out whenever they're
True.
down, and he might have said the magic words because he's simply winning.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the Bell's comms are just undefeated when any other player's comms. I mean, just win and just score are just two of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard. This is why he is ranked 2.
Yeah, he has the mental fortitude that none can match.
Oh, truly. And it looks like as level 10 kind of hits, and there's going to be a lot more pressure coming out. No perfect form or anything, but one thing to note is rapid fire on Juno at level 10 is a huge difference. An extra 13% increase in your slime cooldown reduction, and that translates to about a second off, and that means a lot. You know, Vaughn's not really getting much value out of the Super Surge and Eject button this game. It seems like, well, he's had some attempts to score a Surge that Cuberto's been shutting them down.
Yeah, and one thing I want to note is like Beast Mode is doing great with the rune pillars here. He's been putting them in these spots where it makes it hard for PP7 to clear.
Oh yeah, great banish, making Beast but unable to follow up on this.
Oh, and
Bells could
really
go a
good
little
snatch from Atomic Chronic, pulling it out from Bells before he manages to use his combo, making
Yeah.
a nice easy save.
Cube has really been putting in the work this game. Bell's getting all these scoring attempts and they're just getting shut down by, like, look at that timing. Just a single strike that stopped the dash punch. You don't see that very often.
Right, and that's kind of what I was looking for in the previous set, where when you have these goalies against these stuffers, they know how to snatch it away from the angle at which the stuffer is coming in. And so if Bells is coming in from the top, Cuberto knows exactly how to send it down bottom. So he doesn't have to waste any abilities, and he simply can use a singular strike to clear.
I do think the Stagger Swagger on Atomic is very interesting here. Juno Julie doesn't have that much damage pressure. I think the training slot could have been much better with something like built different to help score, or something. I don't feel like Stagger Swagger is really getting its worth this game.
Yeah, I agree. And great pass from Bells, or from Vaughn to Bells, just simply using one strike to put it in. I don't think Stagger Swagger is the correct choice, like you said. I know we've played with Atomic quite a bit in these ELO matches, and he's been on Asher really frequently. I think this is just his preferred choice. I usually like to go built different instead. It helps out with stuffing way more. But man, what a way to end game one. Just a lot of really good passes, and Bell's not needing to use any abilities, knowing exactly how to put it in the corners.
Yeah, Vaughn doing a really good job in the field. Well, I will say that Vaughn's Juno is, he is a really good Juno player. But I think the thing that helps is that Vaughn is just an amazing player, just outright. And you don't really need to know all of the intricate Juno tech and mechanics. Just being in the right position, winning your strike wars is more than enough to take control of the midfield.
Exactly.
Even if you're down 2 whole trainings.
Sometimes when you're the season 1 champ, you don't need any trainings. You just need yourself.
Yeah, that's really Vaughn just showing him what's up. Like Vaughn just sending a message that I don't need trainings. I am just simply better. And that's what I like to see. The confidence expected to see from the season 1 Romega Strikers champion. By the way, should mention for any of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's a little server where you do 6-man scrims in. It's called Romega Strikers. And it's just 3v3 scrims, you draft teams. And Vaughn had the highest MMR in that at the end of last season and is now the season 1 Romega Strikers champion. Not to be confused with the Romega Strikers tournament that has happened twice previously.
All right, and we might be getting some more tournaments like that. If you are interested in randomized tournaments, there's one coming up. I'm cooking up something, but fear not. I need to do a little bit more coding.
That is true. Mystic did a lot of coding last time. He said he was going to code at 7 and then proceeded to play Omega Strikers, Tilt, and then no longer play.
Hey, I got a few hours in. If you look at my backlog now, there is my most recent stream with some coding. Someone's asking for the server link. Someone we can make an announcement at the end promoting that.
Oh, unless they're asking for the Romega link.
Yeah, I think it's for the Romega link.
Yeah. Romega server is super dope. Highly recommend. There's only 2 requirements. It's being diamond and having 100 games. Other than that, Juin server. Pretty much everyone in this thing is seen inside the US. The only 2 people not seen very often are Beast Mode and PP7. though I believe PP7 was actually on the grind last night.
Yeah, he did get added in, and he was playing a little bit from what I saw. But we're going into the next game, and we see a little bit different of a pick from Vaughn. He's on the Era instead of the Julie. I don't know what bans were there or if any bans changed, but other than that, it's looking like the same team. I'm not sure if any trainings are different.
Nope, still Stagger Swagger, and Stagger Swagger still just not really making that much sense. Era literally does 0 damage. I mean, like, I think a single ability from Juliet will do more damage than Era will for the rest of the game.
I think Atomicronic needs to go build different here or Hotshot. Although I think build different is just better in this situation. And it would make a difference. If you're going Stagger Swagger, you should be going stacks on stacks. This is not a team that will KO you unless you put yourself out of position. So take advantage of that and take the better trainings. But look at that. Bell's seeing an opportunity to kill, and he just goes for it. Heavy-handed instead of tempo swing, so he has a little bit more power. And again, it didn't matter that he had Stagger Swagger because he just died from full health.
Look at that. You can see Vaughn just using the extra speed on air. I mean, the mid has been just super, super difficult to deal with. One training that I do notice that's different. Never mind, wrong rune. No, I don't know if I can necessarily agree with the crossover on rune. I really feel like I like hot shots better. I think you get more mid control, cooldown. Turns the game into chaos, I guess.
Yeah,
but
once it's in overtime and everyone's level 10 and you got hot shot on a single person, the core starts flying and you get less of a goalie diff game, and it's more of a midfield game because the core gets sent so fast, and it's just a matter of which midfield can throw it into the goal first because the goalies just cannot react.
Yeah, Cube doing a great job of shutting down belts. I mean, Cube's really been putting in overtime in this game. You know, can't stop the core if you die, but when he is alive, I mean, he has been doing nothing but perfection stopping bells. But currently, the level advantage is just way too high. Bell's level 10. He's been coming in with lower cooldowns. He's faster than everyone. I mean, he's got almost a whole 50 movement speed on beast mode, so like they're gonna have a hard time keeping up with Bells. And I think if they're able to stretch his lead big enough, it could spell the end of the game. And this is a best of 3, I believe. Or someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure if loser semi is best of 5 or not, but I think it could be.
If we could hear from one of our moderators, that would be cool, so we could just guys, I've had word for our wonderful TOSI that it is indeed a best of 5. So even though it looks like that Surprise is gonna go up 5-0, it won't be the end of the series because there'll still be one more game. And another thing to note, I've been talking to Vaughn and Bells a bit. They said that if Worlds starts before the series ends, that they're just going to forfeit the tournament. Now, I don't know what time Worlds starts at, but if they keep on playing this good, we might see a forfeit in Grand Finals.
Oh man, they're making it quick. They're saying, well, let's just win the tournament before World starts. We are 2.5 hours out from World starting, so fear not. As long as they keep winning like this, we're going places. And one thing I want to make a note of for Zealous is that I think you need to ban the Juliet. It's most likely an Estelle ban, so that PP7 can't be on there, but PP7 is going to do just fine, regardless of what he's on, right? Like, his rune is more than competent enough that he's going to be getting value out of it, similar to his Estelle. Yes, if you let the Estelle through, it might be a little bit harder, but Bells on that Julie is simply unmatched.
He's been putting up a wonderful pill. Like, pretty much all of PP7's angles were blocked. You know, I've been theorizing it a bit myself because I thought I was going to play in this turn today, and I think banning Bells is way better off. Because if they can't score, you can, like, even though PP7's on Estelle is going to be putting out more mid-pressure, I think PP7's rune is doing just as good as his Estelle. And I think Bells' other characters aren't that, are, like, they're obviously still really good, but I just think that Bells being off his main is a bigger deal than PP7. And I don't even know Bells' secondary. I see him play Luna. I don't know if he'll play Luna, but
he's gonna most likely end up playing Luna or Asher. And while they are some scary characters, especially as Luna, I think it'll end up being a much better ban than the Estelle.
Yeah, I don't think that Luna will come out from Bells. Luna is probably one
I
of the
think
weak
you
characters
might
in
be
the game.
mistaken. The prize fighter Luna might make its appearance.
I will say Stacks Luna. Now, I feel bad because I forget this guy's name, but some guy was playing Stacks Luna in my solo queue games, and once he was full stacks, he would dash at my goalie, and my goalie would just disappear. Like they would be like at the edge of the goalie box, and it would kill. And that's because of how Stacks works, where you do bonus damage based on movement speed, and Luna has like 2,300 movement speed during dash, and so it just does infinite damage. Like you get sent to Mars if you get just a slight touch from it.
I see a
So
response from Bells in chat. Mystic is onto something, so maybe they're up 2-0 and we get a little bit of a different pick. I actually want to see Zealous take the Julie ban. I want this Luna to come out.
yeah, we would love to see Luna. Sad Boy is a bit of Trillers. Vaughn's previous team, Sad Boys, they once mirrored our comp in a grand finals match because they were stomping us so bad. So maybe we see it happen again, or maybe they just want to get it over with. Maybe they just want to get on to the next round and just save, maybe save the Luna for grand finals for a little bit of a specialty against ORBITZ. Whip it out.
Okay, we're on center stage with knockback boost. PP7 is on the Estelle, which means that the Julie was banned. Oh, unfortunately, we're getting the Asher instead of
Uh,
the Luna. Not what I wanted to see here, but I'm hoping. Oh,
the
whoa,
Bell's
what? He
X,
hasn't locked
maybe.
in yet. Ah, there it is.
Super lane, and you know, the only time I ever see Von Jakar is when he's pissed off.
There might
So
have been
maybe
one
maybe
too
he's a
many
bit
clown
angry.
emotes on the inside of their team comms. But
This is
let's
what
see.
happens when
Double
you
Estelle
want to
picked
be
up.
clown emotes in the Vaughn. I expect Vaughn to actually farm their Asher. Now, this seems like a good game to take the Stagger Swagger or well fed into.
I can
I
already hear the comms coming out now. Bell's sitting on the enemy goal line saying, guys, passing to the Asher is really broken, you know. Oh, let's see if it happens.
Passing the Asher is broken this patch. It is. Yeah, this is the third time in a row that we have gotten center stage, which is kind of a problem. Of course, I think center stage really favors teams with strong midfielders, because a good midfielder can just take absolute control of the whole entire game. Like if you can predict what they're doing, you run the map. And Vaughn is just a top tier midfielder, so of
But it's
course
a
he's
little
gonna
bit
be on the
different here
track this game.
because when you're on Drek, typically you want someone else to control midfield for you so that you have freedom with getting KOs. So
Yeah,
Vaughn's probably going to play a little less aggressive early on until he scales up a bit, or if he sees a free opportunity, he'll go for that. But I don't think he's going to be looking for KOs. And Bell's nice use of abilities, spreading everything out equally to allow his passive to come up and tank some of the hits for him.
Yep. Again, you may notice that Bells and Vaughn are not playing any midfield champs, and that's because it's really PP7's job to play midfield. PP7 is the midfielder this game. They're confident enough in his abilities to win mid, and Jakar Asher is going to absolutely beat the shit out of anyone who tries to walk forward. So,
And we're already seeing a good use of abilities from PP7. He's stopping a lot of these clears, or like he's just stopping Zealous from making it past the midfield point. And
yeah.
look at the use of his teleport or his blink. This is something that I'm trying to emulate myself and typically score a goal on my own side every time I do that.
Yeah, thing to note is that there hasn't been a real attack from Atomic in them yet. There's been like 2 attacks, the first one resulting in a goal, and that one resulting in a kill. And now that PP7's gone, there's going to be no mid pressure. The Drek goalie is going to be coming out, and just not enough to save it as Atomic scores both the core and PP7 into the net.
That's actually a really big really big deal that he gets the KO there because it's extra EXP for him. So you can take a look. He's level 7 on his side. Bells is level 4 against the same, as the Asher v Asher. He's down 3 levels. Bells also taking Stagger Swagger, Unstoppable crossover.
Yeah, I think people really underrate how powerful levels is. I remember seeing some posts in the Discord about like levels being super weak. You get speed, lower cooldowns, more damage, and more HP for each level that you have. So the level advantage snowballs super hard, especially when you're up like that.
But they are catching up, and now that they've gotten 2 kills this round alone, it's both level 7 for Vaughn and Bells, and they're only a level down on Atomic Chronic.
Yeah, Bell's just not as good at scoring on the Asher as he is on other champs. And Cube, again, the top tier goalie, so he's really shutting them down.
And here we have a little bit of a difference where when I was talking about that cast to last difference, Cuberto is actually someone who's bringing acrobatics. In this situation, it didn't look like he either had it up or maybe he was in hit stun, but there wasn't another somersault coming out.
Yeah, somersault is a really long cooldown. It's like 15 seconds. And if hot shots it's a little lower, but I mean, there he must have had it up. It could have been canceled by Jakar's shotgun. Is what I guess happened because Cube's a good goalie. I think normally he rolls for that if he can.
Yeah, but so much aggression here, trusting that PP7 will clear the midfield. Bells and Vaughn were up on the goal, and they managed to score after a nice pass. But here it is, the level 10 Vaughn with Adrenaline Rush. We didn't see this last time with Lumos. And Vaughn used by himself, making it through the fortress, having so many cooldowns up, he just scores it himself.
Yeah, welcome to the Vaughn show. I mean, bro just kills Asher, gets all of his cooldowns back up at 10,000 movement speed, kills Beast Mode, and then starts to go in on Cube and scores.
Yeah, I would have to say that this is the correct, I wouldn't say correct, but if you know how to KO, this is the stronger build for Jakar. And
yeah.
there it is, double KO again into the goal, and we see it, the clown emote coming out from Vaughn.
Yeah, absolute clown emojis coming out from Vaughn. Just, I mean, again, he was clowning on that game. Even Bells had 3 kills. Just Zealous Zealots were just not staying alive in that game. And that is going to be enough to push Surprise into losers. Hold up, where's my bracket at? Losers finals.
Losers finals, we're going to be seeing Demons versus Surprise.
Yeah, and now here is something though, against ORBITZ, Demons, ORBITZ and Demons, ORBITZ prefer West Coast, Demons prefer West Coast. It is not the same for Surprise. Surprise, as far as I'm aware, I don't know PP7's region, but I'm pretty sure they're all East Coasters. And so this game's a coin flip. Let's flip a coin real quick. Let's see
Can
what the
we
outcome of this game
get
is.
a little bit of clarification on how we're going to handle ping, if it's even going to be an issue at all?
Yeah, true. Because I know previously we just said, tournament's over, I guess. You guys can both get first place. And
I'm not sure if we're going to do seating preference. I know one thing that was being discussed is team with higher seed will get priority on ping game 1.
Yeah, but the issue is that there's nothing they can do. Like, they can't really, give them the server, because there's not a way to do it. Except, actually, I won't mention it. But, don't.
Okay, so there is something in the works. We cannot explain what it is, but it looks like we are trying to accommodate for the ping issue somehow.
Yes, there's going to be some sort of accommodation coming in, and that's really good because the most popular alternative talked about in the tournament general was ban West Coast players, and that is obviously not good for the tournament scene. Just banning half the community from the tournament.
Simply live on East Coast.
Simply just move to the East Coast. I heard Florida's pretty nice this time of year. Get a nice beach house going. So
don't worry. Once we get those central servers, I'm hoping that with the funding that Audi is getting on this Series A funding that they got, the 19 million on the February launch, if not hopefully earlier, we'll get better servers out here. So
yeah,
it looks like we have a dedicated server on West and East, and then outside of that, there's nothing. Either get us a central server, or if you can do it a little bit better with, I don't want to go into nerd talk, but if we can get into a little bit of the cloud networking area and use maybe a little bit of Route 53 or Microsoft Azure to get a network going, that will lower the cooldown of your ping, then we'll be in a better spot.
Too much Omega Strikers going on to explain how servers work. Unfortunate. It looks like we're going to be getting into game 1 of the series shortly, and Surprise again, on paper, actually Surprise is just the better team all around. I mean, not only are their players just straight up higher ranked, their players are just notorious in the community for just being amazing players. Vaughn is probably the second best midfielder out there right now. Vaughn is an absolute menace to play against in the midfield. Bells is easily one of the top scorers, and PP7 is the solo queue demon. You know,
Right.
I have not seen a lot of PP7 in tournaments. I don't think he has been playing in a lot.
This might be the first tournament that we've seen him in.
Yeah,
And
I think he
one
played in
thing I
the
want to point out is these
Buffalo.
these teams have such a strong roster in terms of their character pools. Like we know that Vaughn's Drek is like unmatched. We know PP7's Estelle goalie is insane. We know Bell's Juliet is also nuts. So it's like, who do you ban out? And that's kind of the tricky part where everyone has like multiple characters that they can play, although they have their best character by far.
You gotta ban Julie. Like I get it that PP7 is a menace on the Estelle, which I can only assume was the ban here. But you're just not beating Bell's Juliet. Like no disrespect to Sungold. Sungold's been doing great this time. You are just not Bells, you know?
You are not him.
Leaving it up just feels like a bit of an ego coming out. Like, oh yeah, we're going to diff. But
Yeah, and I think it might have been a little bit better for Sungold to go on the Asher here.
and this game one is going to be in West Coast.
Yeah, we're on that 100 ping here. Let's see how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah,
So,
you know, I think the big thing that ping makes it is that it's really harder to score. Like getting your combos across and winning strike wars is way too hard, and that's a big part of scoring. So trying to force a strike war is just not going to work.
Right, that's a situation that I think Bells would have scored if he was on East Coast. It was a little bit of a delayed punch from him.
I will say though, that is right there is the reason I hate room goalies. You know, P7's out doing read pressure. He's thinking, oh, I can just TP back if they hit it. Gumi gets a heavy hit, and PP7's this positioning is just not there. Like his button was in the right place. Obviously, he couldn't adjust for it. And it's just gonna go in and leave the game to a 1-0 start.
Oh, but Bells does get the KO, so if they can manage to make it back, there is a chance to score here. It is low death timers though, so and there it is. Gumi's already back up.
Yeah, can't lose a strike war versus a dead guy, you know. So.
Oh, Banish comes out from PP7. You won't have that for the time being. You can already see a little bit of a delay on where the strikes are happening from Vaughn and Bells. They're like not happening at like the front of their hitboxes because they have to almost predict where the core is going to be before striking it rather than reactionary strike.
Yeah, and you see, Bells seems to be going for more placement-based goals versus just a straight stuff.
It does get a KO, and there might be another KO coming right up here. A nice follow-up. We still up 3-2 on the side of Orbitz, but it's so tough to make a score here.
Yeah, and Vaughn and Bells, they have the mid control. The PP7s are helping with the mid control, and Bells is just in front of the net, but he just cannot score, which is really rare to see from Bells. Like if you see Bells in front of the net, like 50% of the time, that shit just going in. Like.
Yeah, but Bells is actually almost dead here. He isn't bringing. Bells did not bring tempo swing, but he did bring stacks on stacks instead of build different this game. He doesn't feel like he's going to die, so he's going for the greedier build here. Walking right through Sungold's combo, he's at 90% stagger. He doesn't care about his health. He's still in this aggressive position.
Yeah, I know Bells really hates stacks, but the one situation where he does is actually on split. The split, there's so much room. You're kind of playing a 1v1 on each little side, and stacks helps you cover more options in that 1v1 to give you the opportunity to win, and also help your midfielder out. Because unless your midfielder's Juno, like you have to do your part in the 1v1 in order to take mid control.
And take a look at the level difference here between Surprise and Demons. Bells is already level 10. Sungold and Nakadashi are level 6.
Gumi is just a real MVP of this team, in my opinion. Gumi is just absolutely locking it down. And while his forwards are getting farmed, he's constantly against a one-on-one against the best player in America on the ladder, and he's just shutting him down attempt after attempt.
Yeah, there's a lot of these goals that you just expect Bells to simply get and that aren't going in.
Yeah, good pillar by PB7, barely able to get it past the NATO.
Oh, but a missed strike from Gumi. That's one of those situations where you simply think you're going to hit it. You're already moving on to the next spot. And you're like, whoops, that went in. That's a bit of a clown emoji if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, true. Only if the casters had emojis. I'd just be pinging.
I would be spamming it here, but a quick return goal from Nakadashi, getting these funny bounces on the top and bottom.
Yeah, you know, one thing to notice is that PP7 has not died to the wallet yet. You know, PB7 staying strong. His eyes are just on a different level, I guess.
It might be a geek difference. PP7 has the different set of eyes. He's not losing to the pay to win yet. So maybe
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of time for the battle pass to kick in for the wallet to come through.
Oh, hand stuck in the cookie jar, and the
Stuck
man
in the
is just
barrage.
the animation. Unfortunate.
That
See,
might be
the
a
Kai
Kai
nerf,
patch difference. That one extra bullet. Who knows? Maybe he could have gotten that otherwise.
guys, the Kai is clearly nerfed. See, he missed. We actually need Kai buffs. Camp is
Yeah,
too weak.
one more bullet and 1 more second on the cooldown, I think, is what we need.
Yes, we need more bullets from Barrage. It is simply
what an
too
insane
much.
save from PP7. I think if that's
Ooh.
even a slightly off, it ends up going in from Nakadashi's beam.
I think Bell's ult actually stopped them from scoring there. I think it was going in, but Bell's ult just made it hold come to a complete stop. You know, it is Bell's signature kind of scoring with the ult, and then it looks like he just tried to abuse it a little too much. But the goalie is going to go down. It's going to be wide open. Sungold cannot reach it. It's going to be 2-3, and Surprise is going to be up 1 goal. They don't care about the servers. They don't care about anything. They're just going to kill the goalie and make the servers irrelevant.
Gumi is also up, right? Or I should say Gumi is out on stacks. He's back down to 0, and at level 10, it makes such a big difference going from 100 to 0.
Yeah, it really is just truly amazing
Oh
plays.
my god,
Bells
another
is
KO
gonna
from
get him.
Bells. If he can't score, he's just gonna kill them.
Yeah, you know, really, I mean, it feels like there's been non-stop pressure on the goal. I mean, Surprise is just absolutely slotting them. You know, Gumi is shutting it down, but Sungold and them have not
What a
gotten a
save
good
from
opportunity.
PP7, managing to get it out of Sun Gold's stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and look at
And
that.
there's the hot shot interaction, sending it at speed of light. Bell's pushing Gumi out of the way. It doesn't matter that he was in barrage or not. He simply was not going to get that. 4-2 victory in overtime. Good stuff on the side of Surprise while being down in ping.
Yeah, we love hot shots. You know, I've been talking about this a lot because the interaction between hot shots is really interesting. Is that every time my understanding is that every time it hits, it's making the core go 35% faster. And so as you saw there, Rune Pillar is a heavy hit, and it just hit Rune Pillar like 10 times, and increased each of those hits by 35%. And
It was booking it.
it was gone. You know, I think the bug is patched that causes hot shots to go past the maximum core speed limit, but it's still. I mean, I believe the cap is 2,000, and it just you can't react to that. That was simply unlucky.
And looking at the chat, we'll try to make sure that we get a little bit more time on the trainings. I think the best times to look out for them are in between scores. So just pointing that out to the TOs, if we can just have trainings up in between points, so that people in the chat or spectators can see. But for those who are interested, off the top of my head, we had Bells using stacks on stacks, perfect form, and do you remember what his red was? I think it might have been heavy hitter.
On Bells, it's probably heavy hand. Oh no! It was unstoppable. He's running stacks unstoppable. Using unstoppable to make sure that he does not lose his stacks.
Okay. And I remember PP7 running Creator Castellast with Hotshot, and that's kind of that interaction that we saw at the end. Because he was using Hotshot, he just gets to clear it out so much faster.
Yes, please change Rune Pillar being a heavy hit. Like even without hot shots, it probably moves just as fast. Rune
It
Pillar
goes
is
so fast.
why is it a heavy hit, man? There's no need. It's bro, this shit could be a light hit, honestly. You could have just literally just stop the core, not even have an actual hitbox, and it would still be one of the best abilities in the game.
Okay, so we're going back into game. Looks like Juliet's coming out again. Gumi is on the Kai one more time. Nakadashi's most likely going to be on the Era. We got Rune picked on the side of Surprise. Era instead of the Estelle, and Juliet coming out. So
Yeah,
let's
no-
see if this changes any of the interactions with Bells on his Julie. He is on Origins with Speed Boost, so I'm not sure what trainings he's going to go. But no Estelle picked up.
There was
on the
no
side of
Estelle
Surprise.
ban last game. I didn't even think about it. Who was the ban coming out of? Because Vaughn was on Estelle, no?
Yeah, I'm not particularly sure. Maybe it was the Drakkar ban after seeing what happened at the final game of the last series.
That's understandable. I don't like to face against Von Jakar either. That's my favorite thing to ban. And Bell seems to be lagging behind a little bit. The dash punch is going to be hitting nothing but Casper, your very friendly ghost. He's
So
just getting
we're
opportunity after opportunity.
still on West Coast. I'm not sure if this means that it's loser's pick for ping or not, or if maybe they're just flipping a coin and seeing what goes. Either way, they managed to win last game with the worst ping by a mile, and they might be able to do it again. But man, what a save from Gumi!
Yeah, Gumi is just a machine. Like, Gumi is honestly what I didn't really see Gumi play that much because he's on the West Coast, but Gumi is an absolute wall. I mean, he's been shutting down Bells, anyone who just gets inside of his net. Lumos, it doesn't matter. Gumi is there to shut them down.
Okay, and we got a score from Bells. If we can get trainings up, it looks like Bells is running the same thing with unstoppable perfect form stacks. He didn't change anything up, even with the new map. So let's see. Maybe he thinks this is just better for the higher ping.
Yeah, one thing I will note is that doesn't seem like Vaughn is using the pay-to-win skin. I think this could hurt them in the long run. Those
Right. He
$13
didn't pull out the
could
wallet.
cause
I
a
know
loss.
I'm pretty sure he owns the skin, so it was a personal choice, and he's saying maybe I don't want to win with the money.
Oh, true. Vaughn is just a super honorable player. It's like, I don't need the pay-to-win skin. I'm just simply better. Such a Vaughn mindset.
It really is. That's the season 1 champion for you. PP7 going for this KO on Nakadashi gets it. Vaughn waiting it out for whatever particular reason. I'm sure there was something going through his mind, but oh, the pass back that we see quite often in elos, resulting in a stealth score. But they were prepared for that.
Yeah, the pass back, while pretty niche, does have its use cases. And also, built different, unstoppable coming out from Sungold. What a really weird choice of trainings.
Sun Gold down while in the enemy gold. He was pushing too far to the sun and got burned.
Yeah, Sungold training choice is really hurting his performance. I mean, it's bad.
Okay.
Okay. So the unstoppable perfect form built different is just like I don't get what's the goal. I mean, why are you taking unstoppable? Like, what do you like? I just don't really fully not really following. It seems like a really bad training choice. Bella's training seemed much better. He's going stacks unstoppable, which is weird because Bella's have been the #1 stacks unstoppable hater for the longest time. And
Bell's not touching it, seeing that it was going to go in, waiting for an opportunity to strike back, but since no one was in position to save that, he just watched it go through.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting that Gumi took stacks. Gumi was getting farmed last game too. There's no way that he thought he was getting to 100 stacks this game. So I'm not really following the stacks choice. Like, you're going to die, and no unstoppable either. Like, you are going to die. Like, if he took stacks unstoppable, I could see it. Ooh, great reaction by Nakadashi to hit that off the PP7 pillar.
Yeah, he saw exactly where I was going to bounce off the pillar and was ready to put it in the top corner.
Yeah, that is not an easy play. Well played from Nakadashi. That one has nothing to do with the skin. Nakadashi is simply just a better player. Oh, and that one does have to do with the skin. PP7
Nakadashi getting the pay to win through.
Can't wait to see what other skins come out. Maybe
Now,
get
Sungold almost pushing PP7 back in, trying to KO him on repeat.
Look at that.
Oh, but I think Nakadashi's gone. And Sungold is at no stagger as well. They can just ignore him here because of their positioning. They don't really have to KO him at this exact second because they can go for the score.
Ooh,
But it looks like neither happens. Oh, but perfect. Bells doesn't manage to push it in, but the bounce up is a perfect pass to Vaughn. And because the core is just going fast enough, he can just put it in without any response.
Yeah, wow. Very interesting. I really feel like the training choices of Demons is just like really hurting their performance. I think they're all good players, but they should, do a little bit different trainings. The stacks aren't working out. You're dying on
Well,
repeat.
Gumi is at 100. I think it's fine on Kai Goli. You're not going to, like, yes, you are going to die. You're not going to die as frequently, so I think stacks is fine there. But Sun Gold is really falling behind. He's not able to keep up. He's unstoppable perfect form. He isn't able to KO as much. And there it is. Game goes over to Surprise.
Gumi's just playing way too far up. Like, I get it, you got the stacks, and he doesn't want to be too deep in that because Bells is, like, if you're too deep in that, you're gonna die. Which Gumi was dying. I think almost all two Bells kills might have been on Gumi. So like like the stacks are just. I really don't feel like it's split. Like you're gonna be without stacks the whole game, and right there he crossed the yeesh line. Like even if you're playing Kai, like I get it, like you can do that up, like go a little bit farther up, but not if you're missing strikes like that.
Yeah, and it's a little bit harder when you're not playing Estelle, who can simply just blink back. So be careful when you're walking up, unless it was one of those things where I wasn't taking a look at the timer. Maybe it was close to the game being finished, and they were down 2 points, and you just have to move up to try to score over there. In that case, I completely get it.
Looks like we're going back to game 1 too. Back on split with the CD orbs. CD orbs favor midfield pretty hard, but they're also really good for the goalies because you can use all of your cooldowns for the stuff and then grab a cooldown orb and have your stuff ready for the next attack before where you would normally just get scored on.
Okay, so we're back on split for cooldown. Vaughn's still on the era, not picking the better skin here. Bells is on the Juliet skin though.
Yeah. The Juliet skin doesn't add an invisible tornado into the kit, so I
Yeah,
think it's fine.
unfortunate. I'm actually not a fan of the Juliet skin.
Really?
Yeah, it's not for me. But Vaughn and Bells holding hands on the cooldown orb over there up top before continuing the game. Oh wow, but the Giga Blast sends Vaughn flying with the missile prop from Gumi.
Yeah,
With the blue emote coming now, that is not the Werewolf X emote that I believe is the best emote by far. If you're using the Era emote, you really don't know what you're doing.
Team Vampires is the coolest team, and that is why they're in first place after all. No one uses the. There's like 5 people use it, maybe.
That's a.
I would just like to
No,
interrupt the broadcast to bring you the fact that Team Boo is by far the best team. It is not even close. Thank you. Goodbye.
By the way, our TO is just, again, not the brightest player. He thinks Team Boo is the best. That is just so simply wrong. Like, yeah, like, Boo 20k is cool and all, but, like, a whole emote after him? Like, I'm just saying, like, I mean, look at the Vampire Era skin. Like, the Dubu skin looks goofy. He's got a white sheet over him. But
Or Boo
Vampire
20K.
Era is just, look at Vampire Era. Just so much swag, pizzazz, an invisible pay-to-win skin. The Dubu skin does not offer that level of that. Like, what, you get pumpkins on your ult? Like, that's it? That's
Pumpkins look horrible. We got a certain religious cult cheat over the Dubu, and it's not the way I would want to see Dubu being done. But one thing I want to point out for the game, getting back to this, is that Gumi is level 8. He's actually been KOing on repeat now. He's gotten 2 kills, one on Vaughn, one on Bells. You can take a look at the difference. Bells is level 4 to Gumi level 9. Oh, we do get a KO back. PP7 not in position. I think he was focused on Sun Gold for a second there. Wasn't able to get his pillar up on time.
Super
But
unlucky. That
it
pillar
was in the
literally
right
hit.
spot. He gets it up a millisecond earlier, and that is a save.
And speaking of milliseconds, he's playing on 90 milliseconds of ping. I think we would blame server diff, but also to note, I think like it's been a constant theme in these games where Gumi is way higher level than there's everyone else in the game. And that's just the pure amount of pressure that Surprise is putting on demons. So Gumi's constantly touching the ball. He's making sure he kills people to keep some semblance of control over, and for that, he's getting his prime time up super early.
Yeah, and one thing I want to request is after the next goal, can we get a trainings check? There seems to be a good amount of training. Sun Gold is on stacks instead of built different. I believe he still took Unstoppable, but he's copying Bells' trainings. You know, if he's getting beat down by it every single time, might as well copy it. He knows Bells is doing better.
Yeah, I do like the surge coming from Vaughn. Kind of an older build from Aaron, not seen as much, but it does allow you and your teammate to move a lot faster from the haste. Ooh, great save by Vaughn too.
Defense. Without PP7 there, they managed to clear it out for multiple attacks. And
Vaughn's
wow,
playing a lot of
looking
goalie
like
recently. It seems like
I was looking like it was going in.
Oh yeah.
But another great save from PP7.
PP7 is just an absolute demon, but Sun Gold be getting trade after trade. Good thing Vaughn did not take stacks, or he would just not be doing it. And it looks like there's a 3-0, not to be expected from this game. It seems like they're kind of getting slaughtered, and it looks like Demons Raw are coming back.
We got the clown emote from Bells coming through. It might be the time for the Sacred Comms. Guys, passing to the Julie is broken.
Oh,
Let's
and look
try
at
it.
that. Just win. Looks like the
Just
comms
win.
have come out. And it looks like it just, I mean, once the comms are out, what do? I don't think there's a way where you win.
Yeah, I think the motivation that comes from Bells communicating with his team is unmatched.
Truly, I mean, it's just lights after that. Oh, almost another one.
I think that was a goalie gates difference right there. If the gates were open, I'm pretty sure that just goes in.
Oh, Sungo's going to pick up the kill. Noticing PP7 is a little too far back. Vaughn's going to have to keep mid pressure for PP7 to come back up and have a chance to save it. And they will.
Only a level down before Bells hits 10 and everything kind of matches up again, but Bells, actually everyone is back at 100 stacks, so all the KOs before don't really matter too much, but Bells scoring once again.
Yep, and now this game is ready to go into overtime if Demons cannot get another goal. And Sungold's stacks have just been reset, so Sungold's now really far behind. He's going to start getting outpaced by his Julie, lost his level advantage too. And I think more goals could be coming. The Demon are definitely at a disadvantage here. Maybe if they can pick up a cheeky goal, they can end it before the scenario gets too bad.
Yeah, we got 25 seconds here. If Demons manage to pick up a score here and stall it out until overtime, they will win. And there it is. An unfortunate missed strike from PP7. I don't think he was in position there. I believe I'm going to chalk that up to a ping difference. That seems like a little bit of uncoordinated movement.
Yeah, so saying this is really, really needed for Demons. Because now the big advantage that Surprise had is just not there anymore.
Oh,
PB7
great
is moving
barrage
up
from
to give a
Gumi,
kill.
stopping the stuff from Bells. They have
Could
3
we see a
seconds. They
game
have to force it in
forward?
here somehow. And they do it. Vaughn and Bells using the power of friendship, combining all their abilities, force it in. What a team effort.
Yep, Sungle does have his stacks up, but I mean, Bells is just the better player, so now that Bells is equal level, Sungle's gonna have a hard time beating Bells.
And let's see, now that they got the power of overtime here, any KOs mean so much more. And oh no, another, we're going to say ping difference will get simply be better next time.
What happened there? I was actually too busy focusing on just playing League of Legends, so I didn't even realize that when they scored. This was interesting to see the least. Not what you expect to go in, but hey.
Yeah, two of the 5 points scored there were pretty obvious, like ping difference stuff that we'll see if now things might swap up. That was 3 games over on West Coast, but to be fair, Surprise won games 1 and 2 while being down on ping. So this is the first time they actually ended up losing while being on lower or higher ping, I should say.
I do think East Coast is going to spell doom for the Demons. Gumi is an absolute lockdown defender, and I think Gumi's strong suit is that he is just striking at the right times. And when your ping is 60, 80 milliseconds higher, striking at the right time becomes impossible. And Bells are going to start striking a lot better too. And I don't think Gumi is going to be the same iron wall that he normally is if this game goes to East Coast.
If we go to East Coast, it's a little bit of a Rock Lee taking off the weights situation there. We're going to see everyone kind of get unlocked and show their full potential. So let's see what ends up happening on this next game. But besides that, I'm glad Sungold adapted his trainings a bit. We got to see a little bit better, not taking unstoppable, built diff, perfect form, outdated trainings. We got stacks on stacks to help him actually make value out of the unstoppable. Or I would have preferred him, if it doesn't take stacks, to not take unstoppable either. Either way, good stuff adapting there. I think it made a pretty big difference.
I do agree. I wonder if we're gonna see more stacks Julie come out. I know Bells is not the fan of it, and the last game was on split, right? I don't have terrible memory.
Yeah, I believe it was on split. But if we see East Coast Bells, it's probably not going to be a stacks game. I think he's taking stacks specifically because of the situation that they're on with higher ping.
Yeah, I do think stacks helps you win strike wars due to the higher ping. Like movement speed equals better strike wars wins. So you get more time with your character model over the core. So I do understand the stacks fix here.
So good work to them, but at the end of the day, it's still up on the side of Surprise. So they simply need to win one more, and they'll be moving on to grand finals against
I really
ORBITZ.
wonder what switch chips are going to be seen. I don't know. I definitely could imagine the Vaughn PP7 and like Bells just kind of like maybe they weren't taking that game too seriously. I know what happens with my team a lot. I mean, we just kind of like when you're against a team that you think's a lot worse, and you start just kind of not taking the game seriously. You're just talking about random stuff, not talking about the game as much. And I think once you lose a game, you're like that. You're like, oh shit, like maybe we should focus on the game. Maybe we need better comms than just score, just win. And
I don't think there's any better comms than that.
I mean, it is the pinnacle of communicating, but I don't think that is going to win you the games. I think you might need a more like pass it up here, or their goalie has 0 CDs.
Well, let's see. We're still searching here. Because of the longer search, I am speculating here that we might be swapping servers. One of the TOs can confirm or deny that. If they, okay, so we did get confirmation here that it is East Coast time. We're gonna be getting the Super Saiyan Team Surprise. The Rock Lee belt is off, or the weights are off. Let's see what they bring out. I'm hoping to see a little bit of funny business here if we can. Maybe some Luna Prize fighter, but maybe they just want to go for the win and move on to grand finals.
Yeah, I am expecting a 5-0 here. I really think that Bells, PB7, and Vaughn are just going to absolutely murk Demon Raw. Like, don't get me. Demon Raw is a good team, and I think in a land environment, this would be a good series. But that's just not the case. One team has to get the end of the shaft on the ping, and it looks like it's going to be Demons this time.
Yeah, so after Demons get their first win, we're getting that swap onto different servers. It's saying it might still be a few minutes until we go through. So until then, we're simply just going to be hovering here, talking about absolutely nothing. But
yeah, it's you gotta do a little bit of stalling while we set up everything. But I am very interested in this server swapping tech because I've heard some brief mentions of it, but I actually don't know what is happening. I don't know how the server swaps are set up or what they're doing in order to make sure the game is East Coast. So that's interesting to see, but it's good to hear.
it's good to know that it's a thing so that we can at least try to make the tournaments a little bit more fair. Without it, it's a little bit wacky when forcing teams onto such different amounts of ping. But it seems to be hidden tech reserved for TOs right now because it looks like it could be abusable if not. But either way, we won't be going into any of the details. I actually just have no idea how it works. All I know is that we have people on our team that do and are setting it up right now.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone helping. I don't know who exactly figured it out, but it's great to hear that it does exist. I'm very happy that stuff like this is in the game. Like, even if it might be a bit of a workaround. Oh, that EK. For the record, I'm not a werewolf.
That's
Is
me.
Mystic. Mystic is Team Werewolf. I'm Team Vampire. Team Vampire is just it's the best.
Okay.
Vampire
This is I'm gonna interrupt to talk a little bit about it without giving away like the details. I'm pretty sure ORBITZ were part of like the group that discovered it. And yeah, collegiate tournament's gonna be a mess because it's just gonna be coin flip of server after server. Not to mention how they're just gonna seed with average rank, so that's also a mess. But it is what it is. And yeah, it also takes takes like a hot second to set up. So yeah, sorry for the delay.
I've seen some brief mentions of it in the tournament channel. So I was shocked to see it being used because the main opinion that was being held at the time was that it's pretty dangerous if like people in the community find out and like start abusing it in like solo queue or something, or if or teams are doing it like unwillingly in tournaments despite the other team's knowledge. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know it's dangerous, and so it seemed like there's an agreement to just kind of like keep the tech on the low. I'm happy that's only being shared with the other TOs to make sure that everything's not being abused.
Yep, I'd rather not know it myself.
And also, like I have a trend of hating on tournaments, but I feel like it's deserved because the collegiate tournament's gonna have a best of 7, no reset, no advantage grand finals in a double elimination bracket. Why?
Bro,
Zero
No
advantage for winner side team. It's so dumb.
dude, that's
so
so
weird.
lame.
Oh,
Dude,
but
not
we
having
are in
bracket reset is
game now.
awful. Like, we got a bracket reset here, so the winner of this is going to have to win twice in grand finals if they want to take home the prize of being champion. But it
Oh, a
looks
little
like
bit of a different pick here. Sun Gold not bringing out the Juliet on Asher this time around. Gumi also swapping off the Kai. I don't know if there was a difference in bans, but he's on the Dubu. It might be because of the final pick here. He's saying that, I don't feel comfortable on the Kai. I'm going to play Dubu instead. On the worst possible skin known to man, I don't think you could get any worse than that.
Yeah, I do actually think it's a ping differential that is causing him to do it. And by the way, I think we're still on West Coast.
Yeah, it's
Now-
very weird. We're still on 90 something ping.
Wait,
Maybe someone
what
else
happened?
What? Are
Uh,
they? I mean,
Did,
unless my ping is not working, it looks like we're not on East Coast. Like, what's going on here?
Do we tell them to?
Well, it looks like it's going to be a TO decision on how to continue from here.
Yeah, I don't know if
After
they wanna
after the
play
first
it
goal,
out.
I'll ask.
Fucking looks like Surprise gonna score first goal. I guess we don't need that. We don't need the server switch.
Oh,
Okay.
there it is. First goal. PP7 walking up, putting down the pillar for the bounce, and then getting in the top corner.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's seems like, because my understanding is that, I mean, this service swap thing is not a built-in feature in the game, and it's kind of like a glitch or a bug. And it like there's like some setup to it. I literally know nothing about it. So maybe that's some server bug thing is happening, and maybe they just set it up wrong, incorrectly. I don't know, but the game is going to be 1-0. So I think we're just gonna, for now, assume this is the game 4 of the series.
Looks like Surprise don't really care about the server difference. They're just showing what they have best.
Yeah, I will say though, it does kind of suck because, they did. Demon's Raw did draft around the ping differential for Lux. Asher and Dubu are notoriously easier characters to play on higher ping because they just require less finesse. And Bell's on a 4 KO streak. Bell's I mean, you can see the difference. The life is back in this man.
There it is. The ugly pumpkins coming out from Dubu, holding it down on the bottom half. But
Yeah.
look at the level difference. Bells is up so much on everyone now. Normally, Gumi is the highest level in the game, but without him being on Kai, it looks like he's not touching the core as much. Bell's killing him and getting the score there.
Yeah, another score comes through, and now this kind of scenario about resetting the game becomes in a really gray area because, yeah, they should have reset it, but it was for the advantage of a Surprise. So I can only assume this game is going to stand as the final as a game.
I think Surprise, if they had the choice, they're still just going to say like, we'd rather keep this game going.
Well, let's see. I can see the argument from Demon's Raw being that like, oh, like we were drafting around the ping, but I don't know if that's valid because
Right, because at the end of the day, it's still their advantage while being on higher. Like, they have the better ping here, so they're still at the advantage regardless of their character picks, I feel like.
Exactly. Like you still have the ping. I do feel like this is their game to win.
A little bit of a Call of Duty action happening here. We're getting lots of KOs nonstop. Stungirl can't seem to get his feet settled. But it's also a little bit of a funnel difference. I think this is one of the better maps for forwards, and Bells being that #1 Juliet in NA. If not, competing for #1 player. He knows how to score on this map.
Yeah, like that. Funnel is super favored towards scorers. Champs like Julian Ashrys have amazing setups using the funnel, like a little terrain, and it's just hard to stop it. Goalies don't have any good places to clear. It's really rough to be a goalie.
Yeah, and just following up on the comment from Kuyachi in chat. So even though you guys are seeing the 112 ping on stream, me and Gravity still have 90 ping ourselves, so we can confirm that they are on. Like, this is a West Coast game.
Yeah, we are like, we're both West Coast players, and as far as I'm aware, that the adjustment isn't there. It looks like the game was on West, and it really
the
does.
players can
suck
confirm
to see it.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was legit West Coast again. Didn't work, so we got confirmation there. That's what it felt like. Once we hopped in, good stuff to Surprise, still winning. All of their wins were on the incorrect server, so just showing how much of a difference there was. And I still wanted to see a little bit of East Coast gameplay to see what it was like. Maybe Vaughn comes on the Drek, and we see a little bit of a bloodbath. But
Yeah, so I'm wondering here is, does ORBITZ prefer the West Coast? Like if ORBITZ gets to choose the server, do they end up choosing West Coast or do they choose East Coast? I really don't know. I know Geek is the East Coast I mean, the West Coast machine. I mean, guy turns into an actual wall on the West Coast, but then like on East Coast, he's playing on 120, but he's still a wall. He's
Yeah, I'm not
bathed
sure
in
because
the ping.
is Geek the only one who's a West Coast player? I'm not sure about Ginger Pop and Lumos where they reside. If East Coast is better for them, or maybe they're in Central and they're fine on either one. So we'll see how this ends up going, but it might be like I still don't know how we're deciding the rules regarding East versus West Coast. But from my understanding, it could be preference towards the higher seed, and if that's the case, it's going to be ORBITZ. We'll see once we get into the next match, but either way, surprise with the dominant game 4 win, closing out the series 3-1, down a billion ping, and still just slamming every single goal in, making it look like we were playing a little bit of unranked that game.
Yeah, that really does look like an average unranked game. I mean, I did predict the 5-0 steamroll into the game 4, but it was not on the West Coast servers. And of course, they played extremely well. And so this is also a question I've been pondering myself. So Surprise has now qualified for the Autumn Invitational, but they're in this for fun. They're not like an actual team. So they're just kind of there having a good time, just playing for fun. So like, what happens to the invite? Like, does it go to the next person? Like, what? I don't really understand how it works.
Yeah, I'm sure TOs can clarify, but what I would have to guess is that this team has the go to for entering if they want. It's their choice if they want to use it or not. Maybe if they clarify that like no, we will not be entering the autumn tournament. Um, something else happens there. But as of right now, I don't see a reason why they would forfeit their entry in because there could be a chance that they want to enter.
Yeah, I really don't know how it works. As far as I'm aware, there's 32 teams invited to the Invitational. I know I had a discussion of Eternal King like before like the first EK tournament even happened, and it seemed like they were trying to do 32 teams. So I think pretty much most teams are going to be invited to this tournament, or if they're doing 16, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna end up seeing Kuyachi mentioned here that Demons Raw might get the invite if they don't accept, but we'll leave it up to Surprise to see how they want to continue that. So now we are preparing for our next match, which is going to be grand finals against ORBITZ and Surprise.
Yeah,
ORBITZ were sitting AFK for a bit as they waited in grand finals, so let's see if Russ build up or not, and Surprise can take this into a grand finals reset.
I do feel like Surprise is actually going to reset the bracket here against. You know, Orbitz is obviously a top team, but I don't know if they are what they once were. It seems like I don't know. I don't think maybe it's a patch thing, or maybe they just haven't played as much recently. It does seem like they're being. There seems like there's a weaker team than they used to be, and a Surprise is just full of top players. And of course, like Orbitz has infinitely more experience than Surprise does, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough to like offset the factor of players like Bells, Vaughn, and PP7.
Right, and if they do manage to get their East Coast games, we could be in for a surprise. Orbits,
Yeah.
I still think are the favorite going into this match just because of their tournament history. But like you mentioned, uh, I think the players are simply just not playing as frequently. What it could be the patch, it could be the state of the game. But I know Unstoppable coming in at a whopping 40% reduction didn't help that case. Even though it did got changed down to 30%, uh, we're in a weird state of the game without a patch for the last 2 weeks now, or a major patch, I should say.
Yeah, I know I've at least seen Lumos playing a lot. Again, as mentioned earlier, Lumos actually stole like 90,000 of my LP earlier today. And I know Lumos been grinding, and I did see Ginger on yesterday. But I've been talking to a couple teams and everything, and it seems like Orbit is still scrimming very often. I know. So it seems like they have the practice. I don't completely know what's going on. Though they are still extremely good. It's going to be a really, really interesting series for sure. It definitely should be good. We're not gonna. There's no way we see a 3-0 stomp. My prediction on the series is a 3-1 bracket reset into a 3-2 win from Orbit.
Injured. That's a pretty specific, specific prediction you got there.
Yeah, you
So,
know,
let's see.
no.
I'm gonna use the rest of my points right now. I'm putting it all into surprise.
Is this prediction? Is this like including is this like the series or like this set? 'Cause I am going to
This
put
is who wins it all.
who wins it all. I'm gonna put all my points in Orbits.
I put it all into surprise. So don't let me down.
Alright.
Number 1 and number 2 ladder players.
Oh, I got. I don't like you.
This is
Damn. Surprises. I got a heavy favorite. No worries. I'm coming to balance it out.
You know, Kyochi is
No.
alerting me that this is not how you do this, but it's too late now. I've already said it. People have committed. It's over.
All right. No, it's really interesting to see that surprise, despite coming from the losers bracket, is actually a favorite in this series. And
well, it's because I am 90% of the points that was put into surprise.
are you really? How many of the points are you?
I put 4K in.
Okay, so we ignore Mystic here. And I'll also take out my points for the sake of argument. Looks like we got 1.8 thousand to 800. So ignoring the massive whale that Mystic is putting in these points, actually dumping very typical of your gotcha game players, just dumping
Yep.
massive amounts of money into this.
Speaking
It
on
seems like
Genshin.
Orbits are the real actual favorites.
Okay, but we're in game now. We got Vaughn on Era, PP7 on Rune, Bells on Estelle. I mean, Bells on Juliet. Looking like the Estelle ban most likely on the side of ORBITZ coming out for PP7, or maybe the Jakar ban.
And see, the Estelle ban is really, really difficult because obviously Bells Von PB7 they want to ban Rune. They don't want to go against Ginger Rune. Ginger Rune is going to diff the living shit out of them. But what's happening is that because ORBITZ is banning Estelle, they can't ban Rune because it's PB7's other goalie main. And so they're kind of weird limit. They have to give Ginger Pop Rune. And I think that is one of the worst things that can happen when you're going against ORBITZ.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at the play right there. The passing from Ginger Pop to himself, then back up to Lumos to score the goal.
You know, I didn't even factor in the bans when I was initially making my prediction. After realizing that Ginger Pop is going to be playing Rune the whole tournament, I think they're doomed. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, let's see. It's a battle of runes, whether one's in goalie and one's in forward, but Bells is still Bells, and he can make some magic happen.
Ginger Pop is so dirty on there, and he just knows what you're going to do, places the pillar around it, and is an all-around amazing playmaker. And Lumos is going to force it into PP7. Again, Rune Asher, the best comp of the current patch. It is just hard to deal with the amount of pressure that Rune's adding and the scoring pressure that Asher has. It's just impossible to deal with, really.
And we got Ginger Pop using creative durable things, eject button crossover instead of the hot shot that we see so often. Also with eject button instead of Castellast, which is something that seems to be personal preference, but maybe eject button I would say is the more common choice here.
Yeah, so how are you feeling about your channel points right now? It is really not looking good for those 4,000 channel points.
Don't worry too much about it, because once Bell says the magic words of guys, let's win, it's gonna change a big it's gonna change a very big amount of how the series is gonna go.
You think he's saving those words for game 2?
Yeah, it usually doesn't come out right away until it's looking a little grim, and then all of a sudden the weights come off.
I see. And I don't know if PP7 has a third character he plays, but you can't let Ginger have Rune.
Yeah, I'm not sure who PP7... Well, one thing to keep in mind is that before Rune existed, PP7 had to have played something else when Estelle was picked or banned.
I mean, Estelle is a pretty rare ban. Despite being one of the top characters in the meta, it seems like... And I think if Juno was banned more than Estelle was.
Yeah, probably right about that. And another point goes in. It's looking so hard for them to get control. Ginger Pop on the Rune is single-handedly just stealing everything away. He's on defense and offense all the time.
Wait, you know you can spectate a player by pressing like the numbers on the keyboard?
Whoa! Although the spectators aren't going to see because we're going to get the neutral view over there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if that... It's my first time using the spectate feature, so... Anyways, great pillar from Ginger Pop's going to stop the goal from coming out. And there's just so much pressure from Bells and Vaughn, but they can't convert. Geek is locking them down. And Ginger Pop is just hard winning mid. And I really
Oh.
think that there's a massive gap between the number 1 and the number 2 fielder.
Take a look at that. Ginger Pop going to save Geek, even though he didn't need it. He came back, put the pillar down in the goal, protecting it from any stuff that Bell might have done. That's one of those things where it's like, Ginger Pop is everywhere.
Oh, Ginger Pop almost getting the 1v3 goal. And great use of pillar to secure that orb. I think that's a really underrated aspect. You can put the pillar on top of the orb and you get a free orb.
And now they're up a person. Ginger Pop almost scoring by himself while being down. What's going to happen when they're up? Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is
5-0 on the
what a
side of ORBITZ.
slaughter.
And there it is, the MVP coming down to Ginger Pop, who was just a menace. Look at the amount of redirects and shots that he had.
Yeah, that is super, super interesting. Wow. That is exactly what happens when Ginger Pop's allowed to play Rune. It's just something you can't let through. I really don't know how good PP7 third character is, but I really feel like they should bring it out. I don't like Vaughn's really good. I think Vaughn can match Ginger's level of pressure if Ginger isn't on Rune. But if Ginger's on Rune, it is just you're not going to be able to deal with it. It's going to be super, super difficult. And it looks like they're leaving it up again. I really don't think this is the play. I mean, PP7 must not be confident in this third character if they're leaving Rune up.
We got Ginger Pop still on Rune over here, so no change in bans. Instead, we're getting Juno instead of the Era.
Hey man, even Ginger diffs the shit out of me when I play Juno. You know, of course, Vaughn is like a top player. He knows what he's doing. But I mean, if he's running hot shots, I think, I really don't feel like eject button is the play. I really like your slimes just don't go out for long enough to get value to apply pressure. Of course, you can use the slimes a bit differently here. But I mean,
Jumping into the Rune Biller, just sending him off the screen.
Yeah, can't eject button out of that now, can you? And Lumos is going to pick up the first goal on the PPs.
One thing that is different though, Vaughn is no longer taking Super Surge instead of eject button, or instead of that, he is now taking crossover.
Yeah, I get the crossover. Like, you had to take one of the midfield trainings of crossover hotshots in order to match Ginger. But I really feel like hotshots is way better because you can match Ginger's pressure somewhat.
Yeah, and look at the amount of pressure just by Ginger Pop going nonstop back and forth, making it so that it's so hard for PP7 to clear up because Ginger Pop is just there if they need him. And then Lumos by himself shoving it in. He's making it look like he's the #1 Juliet player on the ladder.
Lumos is definitely up there for a top Juliet player. He's like rank 5 on the ladder, so he's really barely below Bells. But Bells is showing him what's up. I mean, that is the real #1 right there. A great kill in the score from Bells.
We got one cool thing to point out here is that Lumos is on Tempo Swing Super Surge while Bells is on Unstoppable Super Surge. So both of them bringing it in. They're trying to go for that scoring potential, making sure that they have kill pressure on the goalie.
Now, I do like the Unstoppable and the Rune. See, like right there, okay, well, he still dies. But they had the dash punch to confirm the kill. The Unstoppable does stop the Banish and the Pillar combo, which is really nice.
So it looks like the levels are about even. Geek being down the most, just getting its first stack of well-fed. Although I don't really agree with the well-fed pick here, since a lot of the times you die from Juliet goalie, or Juliet pressuring the goalie simply through the dash punch, pushing you out if you're standing too far back. I really don't think the well-fed makes any difference in this situation.
Yeah, it's kind of rough, but I mean, it is Power Orb though, so he is gonna get the knockback resist when he is at 5 orbs.
That is true.
So I actually do like it. I think once he's at 5 well-fed stacks, he won't really be dying.
Well, it's no Unstoppable, but it is a little bit of resistance that he gets from being at those 5 stacks. But right now they're up 3-1, and immediately off of kickoff, look at the amount of pressure they're putting on the enemy goalie. Ginger Pop with the pillars is absolutely a menace. But Bell's coming in, KOing him while he was stuck in animation, cannot pillar out or cannot TP out, and it's enough for him to score.
I guess Geek did not have Somersault up as Bell is able to score right on top of him, placing it just a little bit out of his strike hitbox.
Okay, and here we get another start of the kickoff with a pillar coming down from Ginger Pop, pushing it to Lumos. Oh, but a great banish from PP7, pushing right back, putting up the pillar as defense. And here's PP7, or I should say Ginger Pop, coming non-stop back and forth. He's able to defend on the side or on behalf of Geek, save the point, and then immediately before Bells can even make it back, he's already there to help Lumos out with the attack.
Yeah, what a great play from Bells. Lumos. Lumos is just really putting in fucking work right now. It's Ginger is again. I do actually feel like the Juno pick is working. It seems like they're getting a lot more pressure, but I do think it could be better. Ginger's like maybe like I think the possession time might be like 70-30 right now in favor of ORBITZ, where last game it was probably like 90-10.
Right, at least they're getting their hand on the core now, but almost a I wouldn't say self goal, but a great great pillar placement. Actually, I think both of those players from PP7, so it might have been almost a self goal there.
Yeah, it was almost a self goal. It was close. A great pillar usage by PP7, keeping the game alive, hoping to force more games out of ORBITZ. You don't want to get, it doesn't look good when you get 3-0'd, so.
Right, it could all be a ruse to get back to the World Championships of League of Legends.
Yeah, Worlds does start at 8, but maybe they're having like a little watch party at the house. Maybe there's a quick little sell.
Oh, but what a great angle. Caught in the somersault, doesn't touch the core, so it doesn't get to proc the stun. And great shot from Bells overall.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Vaughn's doing a much better job this game of getting the core to Bells. And Bells, he can't convert. Vaughn just needs to win mid. And Vaughn's been doing a great...
Oh no, but what a pillar start, just sending it off. PP7 is a little too slow on there. And I think that's just a Rune diff, unfortunately. Rune's base speed, while it does seem like Rune can be anywhere on the map, his base speed is low. So if he has to walk to the core, he usually won't make it in time.
I do feel like the Juno pick is right. I've been really wondering about the Juno versus Rune matchup. Vaughn's making it look like a pretty good matchup, even though I do think Vaughn is getting no eject button value, like at all. Like I don't even think any of it. But I do feel like if you were durable hotshots or crossover is still doing a pretty good job. I know Hoishi really likes to see the crossover. It does offer equal levels of mid control if you do play it right. And I think for people who are a little less used to Juno, crossover actually is the best option. But I really think you need to be durable. Like using your slimes to kind of predict where the ball is going to go and set up plays far in advance, I think it's really, really big for Juno. And not having
they
durable...
just last forever, especially in conjunction with multiple abilities. You just have so many slimes down, and sometimes it's just too hard to keep up with where you think it's going to go.
Yep, exactly. It's like you just kind of you sit back and let your slimes do the work. It's a really reactive character. You don't have to be super proactive.
We got a little bit of a later start here, so there might be a difference in bans. Actually, no, Ginger Pop still hovered on the Rune. I would have loved to see a Rune ban here and put PP7 on third best, whatever it is, because it just looks like Ginger Pop is getting way too much value from this Rune.
Yeah, this is really just... this matchup is just really unfortunate for both teams. Like this is probably the worst team for Surprise to Pit face. They ban Estelle, and now you can't ban Rune because you don't want to ban your own goalie out. So it's really, really unfortunate. It looks like Vaughn's gonna be switching to Kai this game. Interesting.
So hoping to go for a little bit more core control here with his Kai instead of Juno or Era. But this is the last effort here. If you guys lose this, you're out of the tournament. But good run so far.
Yeah, this is tournament point here.
This is for my 4K points, so I better see a little bit difference coming out here. Maybe the comms just haven't come out yet, and Bells has been saving it for this game in particular.
This is the game to win if they choose to win one.
But already looking a little bit better. We're keeping the core on the side of ORBITZ more than before. So I think just having a little bit more movement speed from Vaughn while being on Kai is helping out.
Yep. The map is a big help too. Stuff like Center Stage and Origins, you can kind of just place a pillar and it blocks the whole map. But in Origins, the map is so open, you just get a lot of options that you can do. And the pillar doesn't cover all of the options like it does on the other maps. And I think the Kai pick is going to do work here.
Yeah, but Lumo's putting a lot of pressure on both Vaughn and PP7, allowing Ginger Pop to score it in for free with pretty much no effort. And look at the passing going on between these two. It is so hard to clear it out for Vaughn or PP7 because someone's there to catch it, and they have the angles on where they want to pass.
Yeah, these passing plays from ORBITZ are crazy. Just back to back to back. There's just too much pressure. PP7 doesn't have the cooldowns to deal with all of this.
You know what they needed? I think they needed a bit of an Asher goalie this time around.
Ooh, an Asher goalie. You just go sub in for PP7 real quick. I think it can work.
You know, we get him on the Asher, ban the Rune, and it's a different game altogether.
Yeah, I still think PB7 was comfortable on the other champs.
Yeah, I wonder what he did play previously when Rune wasn't out there.
This might be a core strike angle. Let me go see if what his third most played goalie is. Oh, and that's another goal. That is 3-0.
There's just so much aggression, they can't clear it out. They just don't know what to do.
Nope, there's really not much they can do. That's really, really, really rough. Oh, PP7's second most played goalie is actually Luna.
Maybe we just needed a little bit of a check button, Luna. And Lumos here, getting it again. It's like immediately off of kickoff, there's so much core control happening from ORBITZ, and they just happen to be in the right spots all the time. I wouldn't even say happen. They just know where to be at all times.
Yeah, that is. I mean, they're just out of options right now.
Even with Geek being a West Coast player, he doesn't have to put as much effort in when his forwards are controlling the game the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, one goal. I mean, there's one goal away from ending the tournament. I mean, Bells is going to be able to sneak one by Geek, but can they do it five more times in order to force another game?
Exactly. And let's see how this is immediately off of kickoff again, and we have the core on the side of Surprise. And I think if the goal gates aren't closed there, the series would have simply just finished.
Yeah. But
Look at Ginger Pop by himself, getting the core constantly from PP7 and Bells. They can't make any plays happen. And
Ooh,
oh
great
man, I think
teleport.
Ginger Pop stood still, thinking he was going to go in with a little bit of a love emote.
Yeah, great save by PP7 to keep them alive for just a little bit longer.
Oh man, it is mesmerizing watching this man's Rune go into action as a forward. If you guys are ever unsure on how to play Rune, just save this VOD and go back to it. Because
Ginger is
what a
just a
game from
genius.
ORBITZ.
What an absolute slaughter of a series, to be honest. My predictions are horribly wrong because I just didn't factor in that Ginger Pop would be on Ruin. It's simply just an
Unfortunately, I'm
oversight.
down 4,000 points, but you're welcome for putting up the bounty for the other side.
I am happy to have my channel points drastically increased.
Yeah, I'm back down to 180, but we'll have to do better for next series. Good stuff to ORBITZ, and regardless, for a team that was put together of pretty much 3 solo queue players, you guys did fantastic. As surprised, you guys still qualified for the autumn tournament if you want to go through, and we got to see a little bit of fun action taking on everyone else.
Yeah, it looks like we probably will see a similar roster coming out for Sunday, but Boo will be coming instead of PP7, so they will be able to ban Ginger's Rune if another rematch does come through. And I think a game where Ginger's Rune is banned will be very interesting to see. And I think that Surprise could beat them if Ginger's
Yeah,
just
I
not
think
on the machine.
I would say the best piece of advice I have is Vaughn simply needs to shell out the $13, get the skin on Era, and you'll be surprised with how many KOs you'll get.
Yep, I could not agree more. I think, God, it's just so difficult to deal with Rune. Literally, I see Ginger Rune, and I just, I wish there was a slash FF feature, because that's what I want to do every time I see that.
Yeah, and GG, go next. I was really hoping that we saw at least Rune ban one game because we saw Vaughn swap characters every single game that time, starting on the Era, then going to the Juno, and then Kai. But if at least one of those games you ban Rune, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think it would have made a bigger impact than the swap, like that, rather than keeping the ban and then swapping Vaughn's character.
Yep, completely agree. I guess PP7's third in there is just not. Yeah, maybe they just don't want to play with the Luna. I get it. It does happen, but I mean, overall, just great performances from everyone.
Yeah, so we have another team qualified, and maybe it goes to Demons if Surprise decide to forfeit their spot. Good stuff to ORBITZ. Ginger Pop, you're absent from the ladder, but you are not absent from the tournament scene. You popped off for sure on the Rune, so happy to see more Ginger Pop performance. I know I'm keeping this VOD because I want to play some Rune going forward.
All right. So since literally no one except Ignis is streaming, I'm just gonna send it on over to my good homie Tessero with Toho Hiso Tensoku. Soku, if you know it, one of the coolest fighting games around. Real quick.
Never even heard of it.
What
but,
the? Okay, Gravity, you're on the low priority list for next week.
What?
Don't worry, I gotta get the coding stream up settled so that I can get these raids next time, but it's all good.
Yeah, maybe I should stream myself casting. You know,
All right, so that'll be
put it
it.
into the raid.
That'll be it for this stream. Maybe next week. I keep forgetting. Make sure to check out Twitch Rivals and other events coming up. Tomorrow Prime is a tournament. There's just a lot of Omega Striker stuff right now.
Yeah, not Prime with the one, but a different Prime is hosting a tournament tomorrow with cash prizing. So that's something to look out for. I'm gonna plug myself in a little bit. I'm setting up a randomized tournament where there will not be gambling to reroll your teams, but it'll be a randomized tournament where all teams will be somewhat equally seated based on your rating, and that's most likely going to be last week of November or first week of December. So look out for that, and that'll be $500 cash prizing.
Yeah, Prime
Yes,
Sub to me
sir.
is the person hosting tomorrow. So make sure to check out their channel tomorrow and maybe even enter.
Yeah,
So
true.
good luck to everyone performing tomorrow or competing tomorrow. I'm happy to see so many tournaments coming up.
All right, so
Yep.
that'll be about it. Make sure to check out Sogu, by the way. Sogu's so cool. I'm also hosting another tournament in an hour and 15 minutes, but that's too far away to keep streaming. Like, I gotta end it.
Okay, thank you for hosting the tournament once again, Saya, and for great TOing behind the scenes for both you and Kiyachi. Shout out to the previous casters. Yeah.
Yeah, truly good. What the fuck is this fighting game?
Wait, did the raid happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.